Hey, YouTube, what's up? It's Ryan. This is a YouTube recap of So Bad It's Good. A YouTube recap of Beverly Hills, episode 9 from this week. I'm about to start hit record for the podcast. So this is just a you know what? Let me see. This is great. This will be for the YouTube only. One of my listeners, Heather Nicholson, she sent me this. Okay, so I'm really into Batman. I think you can see like a Batman tin up there along with my Housewives stuff. There's like a Bat motorcycle. Yeah, you're on the right channel. It's fine. And so initially I thought she had sent me like this bat thing. It's like, oh, cool. And then I realized she sent me a knife. She sent me this butterfly knife and it says, it's inscribed. It says, So Bad It's Good. And then it says Ryan Bailey. So, people will know it's my knife. It won't just be the Batman thing. And there's a little belt hook. I don't even, I'm not, I know this is going to be shocking to a lot of people. I'm not a super manly guy. So this is my first knife. Here's my thing though. I don't know how to get it to like go back down. Like this is supposed to go in there and this is supposed to go in there. And I'm afraid I'm going to hurt myself. So if anybody knows how to, there should be like a secret button or something. And I'm like, I can't even work a knife properly. And I know I'm going to hurt myself. So I'm going to put this back in the drawer, but thank you to Heather. Okay. Now I'm going to hit record for the podcast. If anybody listens to this, just audio, this is how the magic is put together. Usually on the podcast, I do a bunch of mashups, which I don't play on here. But we're going to start the podcast. Okay. Thank you guys for being here on YouTube. I appreciate it. Please leave comments down below, get into the conversation if you want, tell your friends. It's all good. Okay. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. This is Beverly Hills Friday, where we recap this week's Beverly Hills. And you know what? It was a pretty boring episode. Not a lot happened. Okay, well, moving on. No, Southern, it was wild, you guys. And the lead up to this episode, I have to tell you, was even more insane than usual for a Beverly Hills episode, because I talked earlier in the week on the podcast, on the 4th of July, they released all of these clips, these preview clips of Kyle shaking the shit out of Sutton, like, oh, stop shaking me, Kyle. I say, stop shaking me. And she's like, she's like wasted shaking her. And Diana was like, being Diana all weird, like, I don't like you, Sutton. And then we saw another clip where Mauricio, PK, Dorit, and Kyle were sitting around Kyle's living room like a bunch of rich people going like, I love when Erica Jane is wasted. I love when she hits on Garcelle's son and tells the other one to F off. I love it. And also, yeah, Erica Jane did do that. She hit on the one son and told the other son to get out of here. Get out. Get out. Get out. It was truly an unhinged episode. On top of that, Lisa Rinna made her return to the show. Boy, I didn't miss her last week. And so she made her appearance, like that last outfit when she was at Sutton's. It looks like, listen, I'm not a fashion maven, obviously, but it looks like she stuck her finger right into a socket and it just blew out her hair. Like, I have huge hair. Rinna's hair was like standing up. It's like a female Albert Einstein almost, but like with gel. Like if Albert Einstein had darker hair, was a woman, and got introduced to a massive amount of hair gel. Perfect. How's everybody doing out there? We made it through another week. This week really messed with me because of Monday being the 4th of July, but we got through the week. What a great week of episodes. If you only listen to Friday, thanks for being here, but man, you are missing out. We had on Tuesday, I did a Southern Charm solo recap with a bunch of pop culture stories. On Wednesday, I had Kiki Monique. You guys know her as the Talk of Shame. She's also awesome. Then yesterday, we did a full movie recap of the 2003 classic, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, with my good friend, Annabelle DeSisto. And that is a super side. That is the perfect thing if you are driving for like 5 hours. Just put that on. It's going to take you through the whole trip. But seriously, we got into so many goofy side detour conversations that I love. Like, I mean, we talked about high school sex. I like when I whisper, like, we talked about sex in high school. It was just really great. It's a lot, and I'm still laughing about it. So go check out all of those. But today, I always think Friday during Beverly Hills, it's a special time because this show in particular has meant so much to us the past 2 seasons. I was thinking of the last season, what a glorious season it was. And we were still in pandemic, and it was just, the Erica Jane stuff came out. So this season is interesting what we bring to it too, because we're able in a sense, to go out and live more of our lives than we were a year ago when these shows aired. And I think that even almost contributes to the anger we feel towards these ladies. Now, I'm going to tell you this right up top. We're going to talk about a couple other things, and then we'll get back to Beverly Hills. But I did, well, I'll tell you that in a sec. I did something that I shouldn't have done, is that, like, you'll go on Twitter and you'll read other people's discourse on it. You'll read other people's opinions. And everybody, since they released those couple of scenes early, you would have thought this episode was going to be World War III. It was like, oh my God, this is going to be the worst, darkest episode I've ever seen. And it was dark. I mean, it probably is darker than I even think. I'm just so desensitized to these shows. But guys, I don't know if it was as horrible as people are trying to make it out of. Erica is turning into a sad old lady that just says weird shit when she's drunk. Okay. Kyle's always been kind of suspect. Okay. Like, I don't know. Like, people were just not even arguing, just kind of like, how this is disgusting. It's gone too far. I wanted to start off the show with this tweet that I saw. And I want to, okay. I don't follow this person, but they seem great. It's at Bravo MF Bravo 1 on Twitter. And they said, Beverly Hills has 100% entered a dark era, and it's very uncomfortable. A show plagued with racism, an alleged sex trafficker, that's Diana, accusing someone of faking miscarriages, that's Kyle in this episode, yes, horrible, showing zero remorse for victims, that's Erica. This show needs a revamp following this season. Now, truly, that is a well-written opinion that obviously has a lot of truth to it, right? But let me just posit the theory that Beverly Hills always has been dark, but we're also more dark than we've ever been, kind of as a society, as a culture, watching these shows. We are primed and ready to argue, ready to be angry, ready to hate, all of that stuff. And that, I'm not saying that we are just as bad as those ladies, because we are not. These ladies are horrible. But remember, that's kind of sometimes my enjoyment of it, is that we get to laugh at these horrible people. Like, keep it on screen, keep it in your lives, our lives. We can choose to be positive. We can choose to laugh at these things, laugh at these sad people like Erica Jane, but I don't know about the show needing a revamp. I do think we're going to have a revamp coming up with a couple of cast members regardless, but I don't think it needs to be top to bottom. Remember, we are dealing with Real Housewives. Real Housewives has never been about sunshine and roses. It's about the life of rich women, like, and Gina from OC. No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, and now Erica from Beverly Hills. The show has always had a darkness. I mean, I was talking to a friend today on a show, and they brought up Lynn Curtin from OC. And you think about the darkness we got to see that season, where, we find out the husband is completely broke. We find out, we found out dark things throughout the entire, I mean, God, Vicky's marriage dissolved. Then she got with Girth Brooks and all, like there's been darkness surrounding all of these ladies' lives. I think just in Beverly Hills right now, because I think it is one of the highest rated shows and we all have our eyes on it. And I think we live the lives we do, and our lives are kind of bleak in certain ways right now. I think we bring that energy to a dark show. Like, last season to me was darker than this season. In fact, I said that on Twitter yesterday. I said, hey, you think tonight's episode was dark? Wait until you see the entire last season. It is dark. We're talking orphans and widows. We're talking millions of dollars. To me, felt so much more of a darkness last season. Now, that is not to say that any of this is light and easy and fluffy, and nor should it be, because that is not the reality of their lives. And supposedly this is holding a mirror up to some kind of weird society thing that I'm not a part of. I'm not a rich lady yet, knock on wood. But this is the reality of their lives, right? Like, even if they lie to themselves, we as the viewer get to see that. We get to make these judgment calls. But I don't know. I don't know about the revamping. I think the show still does work for what the show is. Now, if this show was, I'm trying to think of a positive reality show out there, if this show was, I'm trying to think, what is a positive reality show? Do those even exist anymore? I'm trying to think, like, is Jersey Shore, is Deadliest Catch, I'm really picking some wild. I mean, do you think 90 Day Fiance is 90 Day Fiance sometimes is even darker to me, because half the time I don't even know if they can pay their bills. Like, at least with these ladies, besides Erica, I can say, like, at least they're, I don't have to worry about supporting them at any point, I mean, Lisa maybe down the line, but I don't know. So that thought, I find it fascinating, and I love discourse like that. That was such a, I love that opinion. It's not my opinion. I don't think it does need a revamp, but I love that we get to talk and dissect and do these podcasts and go all everywhere. To me, that is so, so exciting. So that's what we're going to do here today, but we're also going to have a lot of stupid laughs. Remember, you have come to the show with more stupid laughs. I mean, there's just a lot of stupid laughs. I'm going to be very stupid today. And I hope you'll go with me, because last week we ended with the Diana Sutton fight of like, I don't like you. Diana looked like she was just, I'm going to kill you. I cannot read Diana for the life of me. And I don't know if it's the filler. I don't know. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because she looks, I mean, listen, I think Diana's hot the way she looked. Like, I truly like that's, I'm like, wow. But I know it's all filler and all that, because we've seen the pictures of her in the past. Still a pretty lady, but very different than she looks today. Listen, I was reading that Kim Kardashian article today about that she's had, just a tiny bit of Botox and a little, but to me, I'm like, even that's a weird lie. I love when people gaslight people about what they've had done. Who cares? If you're rich, do it up. Listen, I've been trying. If I was rich enough, I would dissolve my BBL. I mean, I have been sitting on a gigantic ass now forever, and I would dissolve it. And I mean, I regret doing it. It was, the Kardashians made me do it a couple of years ago. I just wanted to be part of the cool kids club. And only later did I find out that men usually don't get BBLs. It's just me and James Charles. Shout out, James. What's up? No, but like I've told you guys this before. And by the way, welcome to the show. If you're new, you guys are my friends. So I assume that you've listened to everything, and I know you don't. That's why I'll keep saying like, oh, I know we've talked about this before, because we probably have. You just might not have heard it. I've talked before, like if I had like FU money, I would buy a replica of the 1989 Batmobile from the Michael Keaton movie, and put like a Corolla engine or like that's money spent. I would buy the bust from the Lionel Richie music video, Hello. Well, I've talked about this on the show before, where the music video was a blind girl that is dating Lionel Richie in the music video, and she feels his face. And at the end, she presents Lionel with a bust of what Lionel looks like in this blind girl's head. And she came really close. I mean, she made him look like more of a monster, but she got the mustache right. I would buy that. That is like, I'd be like, that's one of the first things, I mean, listen, make sure my parents are okay, pay off their house. That's that. Then the Lionel Richie head, then the Batmobile. And then I got to go Jax's chunky sweater from season 1 of Vanderpump Rules in Vegas that he rips it off. I would definitely buy the Jax chunky sweater. There are 2 in existence. Tom Sandoval has one and Jax has one as well. Jax's is framed, and I almost think Tom Sandoval might have the real one and Jax has the fake one and put it in a frame, because that seems like something very Jax, where he doesn't even have the original of his own sweater, or the sweater originally was Tom Sandoval's and Jax just takes other people's clothes. Regardless, that would be money I spent on. Other money though, I would go to the Kardashians' plastic surgeon and go, what can you do, doc? And I'd be like, here, like, money is not an object. Make me beautiful. Like, really make me beautiful. We all want to be beautiful, right? We all want to be beautiful. I don't care. Like, listen, you can admit what you got done. Is there a contest on earth that if we lie to people, people think we're cooler about looks? Well, I go, yeah, man, I used to be butt ugly. And the Kardashians were never butt ugly. I mean, Kim Kardashian has always been relatively beautiful, right? It's just our standards of beauty have changed because of their standards of beauty. So I remember Kim Kardashian when she first came on the scene. Remember when she was Paris Hilton's assistant and dated Nick Lachey after the Jessica Simpson? It was just for like a couple dates. Do you remember that? I remember seeing her in Us Weekly hardcover edition, not before the internet. And I remember thinking, oh my God, who's that girl? That girl is so beautiful. I didn't know who Kim Kardashian was. Who knew she would play such a big part in all of our lives, sadly, after that. But I thought literally I was like, wow. And now you look at those pictures and you're like, who the fuck is that? Who's the Uggo? Because we compare her to Kim Kardashian now, and Kim Kardashian's like 40 looks in, and each look is better than the next. Each book, like, and it's weird now. People are trying to get plastic surgery just to look like Kim Kardashian. Sometimes you'll see Kim around people she's influenced in terms of what they've got done, and they're all starting to look like weird. It's like Westworld robots, where they all like, oh my God, like I don't know how to tell the difference, because you can tell these popular procedures are kind of taking over. I mean, it's like filters in a way, but these are like expensive filters for your face. We get to see them and use them on Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok, but Kim gets to actually do the real thing. But I just don't know if there's any like, listen, I'm not going to make a dick joke, but I would just say I would not, if I had the money, I would spend it. And I think I would tell people, like, what am I going to tell? Like, those are my real abs? No, dude, if I could pay to get abs, do you know if I would be like, yeah, I would do a payment. In fact, if anybody does make abs out there, I would love to buy 6 of them, you know, or even just one to start. That's what they should do. They should do one just to get you hooked and be like, I love my ab. Could I have more? Welcome to the show, folks. This is the show where I just kind of rant. And Fridays I always look forward to. It's a really special one, like I said, because I truly, truly love talking about this show. And I love talking to you. And it's nice because we're at the end of the week. I'm doing this a little earlier. It's only 7 p.m., not 11 p.m. at night like usual when I do these. But I got to get up super early tomorrow because I'm interviewing somebody really cool. And I'm so excited to interview them, but I have to get up super, super early, I think, because they're on New York times. I have to get up at like 7:30 tomorrow. Ugh, you're like, I do it every day, doofus. You just understand. So this week threw me off. So, and Wednesday, what did I say? So Tuesday night, I got 0 sleep. And the way I know this is because I was up all night, and Fitbit, I have a Fitbit sleep tracker for the YouTube audience. By the way, YouTube audience, check out this. This is how insane I am. I wear an Apple Watch and I wear a Fitbit thing. Like that's insane, because I think the Fitbit actually tracks steps. Listen, I'm the picture of health. I don't know. Guys, I don't go outside a lot. Regardless, the Fitbit has a cool sleep tracker on it that is really accurate. And I'll share this with you guys because you're my friends. I just had a really bad day on Tuesday and night. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's go to sleep. And I took my melatonin. And remember, I'm recovering from COVID. I'm finally testing negative, but last week was shitty because of that, and had to, isolate for the full week. So Tuesday night going into Wednesday, I fell asleep at 2:39 a.m. and I woke up at 4:46 a.m. And I did that mistake where you check your phone, and then I just started working. And so then I was like, oh no. And I went back to bed at 7:04 a.m. and I woke up at 9:20 a.m. So Tuesday night, we're clocking in around 4 hours of sleep. And I felt it yesterday. I was dead. I did that whole podcast with Annabelle on 4 hours of sleep. And you don't even feel like you're a human at that point. And then the night before that, 6 hours of sleep. The night before that, 5 hours of sleep. The night before that, 4 hours of sleep. It was really, really bad. But last night, you guys, you guessed it, 8.5 hours. I knocked myself silly. I was taking every melatonin, trazodone. I just knocked, and I had the slumber of slumbers. So I am a new man right now. That is why I'm so excited. Plus this coffee at 7 p.m. doesn't hurt, right? Okay. Where am I? Please subscribe to the YouTube. Once again, if you're a Patreon member, good news. You've got not 1, not 2, 3 episodes coming to you by Sunday for Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Part 2. The first 2 are already up there. The third one will be out tomorrow. The fourth one will be out Saturday. And the fifth one will be out Sunday. So you will have all 5 episodes of Ultimate Girls Trip over there on the Patreon. And I got to tell you, the first 2 turned out great. I am so happy. We're going to be doing another live Patreon too in a couple of weeks. I know Maritza gave me the date. I'm so sorry I don't have it, but sign up over there at patreon.com/so bad it's good. We've got new t-shirts out there as well. We've got the Stop Sleeping with Nick Cannon. I think we're doing Stop Sleeping with Elon Musk because he announced or it was found out this week that he had 2 more kids during the time that he had the second kid with Grimes with somebody that he worked with. He is trying to repopulate the earth. It's going to, dude, we got to watch it. You know, at the end of the day, it's going to be Nick Cannon offsprings and Elon Musk offsprings. That's not like a good planet to live on. Come on. No offense, you guys. So, sign up for all of that stuff if you like this, and please say you like it, man. Go to any of the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and leave a 5-star review. You can leave it on both. Those things really help. And I know, you know, nobody's loved by everybody. I'm definitely not, but the people that do, if you could take a second and do that, it truly helps. And I'm really proud of what we're doing and what we've been doing, man. 2.5 years, like, this is crazy. We're really doing this. This is my life, and I appreciate anybody along on this little journey with me. Truly love it. I wanted to talk about a couple more things, as I always do. Also, I'm going to be on Comments by Celebs podcast tomorrow. I am with Emma for the Bravo edition because Isabel is off this week, I guess, and I got to fill in. And man, I love talking to Emma so much. They were on my podcast last week, and I just had the best time with those girls, Emma and Julie. And then a year ago, I had Emma and Isabel on because they do like 2 or 3 podcasts a week, like we do over here. And they're just great. They're so professional. They really handle, I mean, I know I'm older than them, but I look up to them. They're just very classy the way they put everything together, and they're so smart and really funny. I can't say enough good things. And we got to talk today and about Beverly Hills, Ultimate Girls Trip, Southern Charm. We run the gamut, and I didn't want to stop talking. I was like, oh, and Emma has the best voice, you guys, the best voice. So check that out tomorrow. Please leave a good review for them saying that you liked me, because that's a really big deal for me to go, they have a really huge podcast and and on top of it, they're just awesome. Like, does it ever shock you when you're like, oh my God, they're really nice too? Like, you almost expect them to be jerks because they have that big of a platform, and then they turn out to be amazing people. So go check that out. Go support if you're a baddie over here. And okay, did that. Now I want to talk about something serious. And you're like, Ryan, stop it. Are you going to talk about the dick thing again? No, I am going to talk about a tweet. One sec. Sorry, Ari. Sorry, I tweeted this earlier, you guys. I said, am I the only one who wants to see Erica Jane and Garcelle's son date? He could teach her to love again. I love when people take me seriously. And then Ariana goes, Ryan, and then Louis Peitzman, who I love, says, he knows we can see this, right? I love when people it's like, dude, I shitpost all the time. I love when people take me truly seriously. Like, no, I do not want to see Erica's. You know what? But now that I think about it, go down this road with me. Erica Jane dates Oliver, Garcelle's son. And I know he's with somebody, but say they break up, it's mutual, whatever. And then Oliver teaches Erica Jane to love again. She's like,
I never thought I could feel this way about somebody ever again. Not since Tom.
And Oliver's like, I love you, me lady. And he's like, can I have this dance?
Yeah.
And she tries to start doing like the pat the puss dance. He's like, no, dance with me slow. She's like,
I don't know what that's like.
And he's like, don't, just hold. Just let me hold you.
I've never let a man hold me in so long.
And he's like, just dance. And then he starts doing one of those like Beauty and the Beast dances. What is that? Like, not the foxtrot, but like one of those fancy, what are the fucking fancy dances called? The fancy dances with the dun, 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 the 4-step. Anyways, it's the fancy dance from Beauty and the Beast. They start doing that. She's like,
Oliver, you're so strong.
And he's like, I am. And he's like, look me in the eyes, Erica.
No, I don't want to.
Please look me in the eye.
No, don't beg me.
Please. And then she does.
Oliver, you have beautiful eyes.
You do too, Erica. And then she starts like, it's okay, Erica, let it out. That's her crying. And then he goes, it's not your fault.
What?
It's not your fault. And then they start doing that scene from Good Will Hunting with Matt Damon and Robin Williams, where he just like holds her. He's like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And like, no, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And then she just, a puddle of tears, and then they kiss. Come on, you wouldn't want to see that. That would be amazing. But also, I'm joking. Okay, so no, back to the tweet I wanted to talk about. So this I tweeted on Tuesday night. And I want to take you through a creative process on something. And I know you're like, Ryan, this is just reality shows, but I swear to God, there is a creative process, or at least I've convinced myself there is one to try to feel like an artist sometimes. So I tweeted this the other day. I said, on Tuesday night, let me find it. Make small talk amongst yourselves while I do this. Oh, yeah, here it is. Real Housewives franchises should be able to trade housewives to different franchises like sports teams. So basically, like a sports draft. Now, it went, I guess, semi-viral. It got like 30,000 likes on Twitter and, did decent on Instagram and stuff. Now, let me take you through the creative process for that idea. Now, you're going to have to go back like 3 years with me. I used to talk about that idea. I think it's on one of the first 3 or 4 episodes of the show that I used to joke about doing a housewives draft, because all my dude friends would do the football drafts, and I tried to do it one time, and I just don't like sports. And we would like meet at like a Shakey's Pizza, and you got to pick your picks, and I was like, guys, it was so damn boring. It kind of reminded me of like what I think Dungeons and Dragons might be too, because I'm watching Stranger Things, and that looks pretty boring too. Not the show, the game. And so I was like, and then I peter out, and people are really stressing over these final fours. Like all the guys are like sending emails and texts, but I wanted to be part of that guy camaraderie. I wanted guy friends. So I was like, I guess I have to do this. But people were taking it so seriously. There's money involved in all this stuff. And so I used to say well, why don't we do that with the housewives? I could get passionate. I'm passionate about this. And I would joke on the show. Even Maritza, I was talking to her yesterday, and we used to joke about it. In fact, we were going to make some kind of graphic about this years ago, but in all honesty, I'm very lazy. And to me, it was like a funny thought, but it wasn't like a thought where I was like, I need to pioneer this. It's something that I think, anyway, it wasn't like something that I thought was like amazing. I just thought it was a cute little funny idea. I have those every day, and I've had weird ideas since I was a kid, and most of them are horrible, but this one anyway. So I tweeted that out on Tuesday, and this is the creative process. I was on the toilet. Hate to be graphic, closed. Yeah. Earmuff the kids. I was on the toilet, and it was Tuesday. I was tired. And when inspiration hits, I'm on my phone anyways when I'm on the toilet, and I'm like, oh, and the reason I was thinking about the draft in the first place was because of the Beverly Hills crap with Lisa and all those scenes being released on the 4th. And everybody was like, it's time for Rinna to go. It's time for Erica to go. It's time for Kyle to go. All of this shit while I was on the toilet. And I was like, oh, I'm so tired of this. But then I was like, oh, it's like the old idea. Why don't we trade Rinna away? Why don't we trade to wouldn't you love to see Rinna over on Real Housewives of Atlanta and see if she could survive a day? Wouldn't you love to see Erica Jane over on Potomac? Wouldn't you love to see I don't know, Candace over in OC? There are just things that you kind of imagine, and people are like, well, that's what Ultimate Girls Trip is, kind of. But these are a bunch of ladies from different franchises going to make a new iteration. I'm talking about putting 1 or 2 people from Beverly Hills onto a whole different franchise and vice versa. So not something new, you would put them into that lifestyle, kind of like a wife swap. So I tweet this out. And by the way, that toilet, if you look at my timestamps on Instagram, it was very successful. Within 5 minutes, I did that idea, and I did my old standard meme that I've done 30 times in the last 2 years, where I did the A Star Is Born, with Bradley Cooper rolling down the window. He's like, hey, and she's like, what? And he's like, I just want to take another look at you. And then the meme, she smiles, that little Lady Gaga smile, mm. And so I did a meme where I was like, hey, and Lady Gaga was like, what? And he's like, what's up with Kyle Richards? And then she smiles, because we were all bitching about Kyle Richards. So I made those 2 meme Twitter things within the 8 hours I was on the toilet. No, I think you can check that within 10 or 15 minutes. I don't know. But it was a really successful trip to the bathroom, whatever. And those I was like, cool. Listen, if an idea takes off online, you're like, great. I hope I get new followers. I hope people find the podcast. All the, you do get validation in a way, because you're like, oh, I'm not the person that I hate deeply inside. Other people potentially like me, and other people found this funny. And with the sports one, the draft one, people really liked that and be like, oh my God, this is amazing. reminder, I had this 2.5 years ago and did not make one, and I'm not going to make one now unless somebody wants to take the lead and then credit me. But so anyways, that's that, right? And then so Tuesday night was the night that I couldn't sleep, you know, and which is just funny. I was like miserable Tuesday night, and I'm like, wow, it just shows you like anything, like if you get good like online memes or whatever, it still means like I'm miserable inside. It doesn't change my life. It doesn't make me cooler. It makes me dorkier even. But I was having a miserable night on Tuesday. And so it doesn't, that kind of shit, you guys, doesn't change anything. Don't ever wish that you would be big on it. Doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter. So as you know, when I woke, like I worked for a little bit, fell back asleep, woke up at 9 a.m. to a text from a friend that I had not heard from in years. And she said, hey, want you to know that somebody's talking about you on TikTok. And that was first thought I was a joke. I was like kind of dazed. So this is like 4 hours of sleep. I'm like, huh? And she's like, sent me this link to a TikTok. And she's like, in case you want to get ahead of this. And I was like, get ahead of what? I'm like, have no clue what it's. I was like, uh-oh, it's an Erica Jane Stan or a Lisa Rinna. Because I was like, what the F did I do? And it's this girl that I had never, and I'm trying to say this nicely, and because it's not a slam. It's like I did not know her. I had not heard of her, and that doesn't mean like how many amazing people I do not know. Like, and I'm excited to know them. Like that tweet I just read you a second ago. I'd never even seen that account. I don't follow that account, but it came up on my feed, and I was like, cool. Awesome. I love that. Like there are so many brilliant people. My audience is mostly insanely smart and funny people. So, hey guys, I know this is a long podcast, whatever. So then I get to the video and I'm like, oh God, what is this? And it's this girl. And she's like, it's really weird. I'm trying to think. She's like, well, can you guys help me out with something? There's like sort of I think she said like a sort of a well-known podcaster. And I was like, oh, me? Like I was, my first thought, I shit you not, was like, oh, she thinks I'm kind of well-known or like a nose. Like I was so excited. I was like, I mean, I was just like, oh, cool. Like I'm a no, like, how long I've wanted to be known or kind of, or I think she said sort of known or kind of known. And I was like, all this, like already the video to me, I was like, this is all positive. And then it got to the crux of it. She said, and I think he stole my idea. And then I was like, oh, and then I was like, I was sitting up in bed. I was like, oh, and mind you, you can type notes on TikTok while you watch the video. So I'm watching the video and I'm commenting and I have fat fingers. So I'm misspelling everything, yet continuing to talk as I see her. And I guess this girl had the same idea. I think maybe 6 months ago, she said, I'll have to watch the video again. I only watched the video once because I was like, it upset me. Not like, I'll explain. So I'm reading this and she said, well, I had this idea such and such a time ago. And she said it went viral on TikTok. And it's just so close to my idea, or even the writing, my tweet was really close to her tweet, and that it went viral on TikTok. And then she started going, and he must have seen my thing on his FYP page, which is, I think, the For You page, which they'll send you stuff that is to your liking, like housewife stuff, if that's what you dig. I'm going to show you my FYP page in a second. And she's like, and then his comments in here, and I don't know if he's joking, they might be, but it's similar to and the comment she was talking about was like, nobody take this idea or I'll sue. Which, you guys, if you know me, if you listen to the show, if you any of that, of course, like look at my account. It's a shit posting account. Like I would never sue. Like, please steal my ideas. It's happened before, I think. Whatever. Like, that was a joke. I'm so sorry that sometimes humor, and especially my humor, might not read over text or over that, but that was just a joke. And she goes, and then he's like threatening to sue. And it's like, I don't know. And then it was like, I, what do you guys think? And I was like, oh, great. Sure. Yeah. Invite the internet to chime in on somebody that they don't know. Because I was like, and I don't know if you guys know the internet. It's like fairly a negative place. I don't know if you've encountered it. Yeah. I don't know if you've encountered it. So I was like, oh, fuck. Luckily, I don't think really anybody gives a shit about me at the end of the day. So, but I was like, okay. And then I was like, do I dare? Do I read the comments? And I was commenting tons. I was like, wait, no, not at all. And I was like, yo. And also, I wanted to point out Heather McDonald, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago and has a way more successful platform, podcast, life, anything than me. She wrote a comment on mine going, oh my God, we talked about this on the show a while back. And like, oh, like, what a great idea for girls. And she goes, and you, which I thought was really funny because she made fun of, not, she poked fun that this is the stuff I like as a straight dude. And it was a really fun comment. Like, and it wasn't like you stole this idea or did he steal this? And I was like, and I wrote back, it was like, I was like, oh, hell, this is even before I saw the video. Heather commented that. I was like, isn't it great? Like, oh, and I was just excited that Heather left a comment. Like, but in no part of my mind did I think Heather was accusing me of stealing her idea, nor did I think Heather was accusing, or she was, what I'm saying? Like, I think we just both thought, oh, that's a funny idea. And we move on. I didn't think anything more than that. And so I even wrote that in that girl's TikTok. So I was like, hey, Heather McDonald said it was her, said she had the same idea too. Like, if anything, like, I don't know what the dates were. Like, did Heather steal it from you? Like, did you steal it from Heather? Like, let's get the dates down. And if we're really going to be fair, let's go back 2.5 years when I did that idea originally on the show. Let's pull that audio. And by the way, I'm really asking you guys, you do it because I don't want to go back and do it because I've literally had 400. That's what I said. I said, that was the other comment. I said, I've done 400 episodes. I do a daily show and I'm really proud of what I do and the work I put in. And I just would never steal. I wouldn't risk my job for something like that. I just wouldn't. And that's what I want to assure you guys listening, because I know you're like, is this guy a big thief? The people that listen, no, of course not. But I want to, like, for anybody, because then I started thinking about it all day. I was really having a really bad day. This was part of it. And I was like, listen, that's no offense to that girl, because I get how exciting ideas are. And I get how when you get a good one, it feels like magic, and it's so hard to ever understand that people could have similar ideas. It really is. And I don't want to cut on the idea because I love it, but it's not a hard idea. It's like, okay, what if we took, like, listen, I'll break it to you. I had another idea 3 years ago that I've seen copied around everywhere. And I don't think it's stealing necessarily, but it was like that idea I used to have where we take each of the fired housewives and put them on an island and give them sensitivity training, and they compete to get back onto their respective shows. It's kind of like Housewives mixed with Survivor. I have a tweet from that from like 3 years ago with that idea. I've seen that idea so many times since that time. And now in my head, in my sick little head, I would love to believe that everybody's stealing from Ryan Bailey. But in my heart, I know that if you love reality shows, you start thinking about other concepts in reality shows, and it's not that hard to get there. I think, of course, mine is the best one of those. But you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, this girl would want to believe that, like, she's the number one special person with that idea ever. And by the way, like, I looked at that girl's platform. She kills it on TikTok, like way more successful on TikTok. I'd never heard of from her, but like, man, I probably would have someday. In fact, she followed me on Instagram. I didn't even know. And I didn't follow, I wasn't following her because sometimes I don't even need to see, I don't pay attention like that. And you guys know that. So I tried to explain this, and then she wrote like back two things. And she was like doing that 1 of 3, 2 of 3. And then I don't think she ever did 3 of 3. And, but I always think it's my thing is, though, in the future with anybody with this, if you have an idea that you think is really special and stuff, like, listen, with all my memes, I watermark them. And I want to tell you with Instagram, listen, things get copied all the time. I say this all the time. I don't listen to reality show podcasts anymore because, like I told Heather, like I've told Danny, like I've told any of these people, you'll inherently borrow or steal, even accidentally. Listen, I had a conversation with Emma from Comments by Celebs for her podcast, and I'll probably use some of her thoughts in the discussion we had in tonight's because I liked it, And, unfortunately with podcasts, you don't get to annotate. And like at the end, there's like a list of credits or anything. I don't consider it like that. I'm not getting rich off of this or whatever, or clout. I like, listen, I'm an older person that found something that they love to do. And I'm just glad to be here. So I wasn't worried about like getting canceled or like I'm a very sensitive person. So I was worried about in that sense of like, oh, I was going to really hurt my feelings. But at the end of the day, I want to say that kind of stuff is really dangerous because you are dealing in a creative field. And if you deal with somebody that is working really hard at this, they're usually not going to steal. They're just not. And I think it's really because my thing was, and I was like, you made a video about this? Like a video? You made a TikTok about me. And it was like, oh my God. Then all of a sudden I was having inception because I was like, oh my God, I was thinking all the videos I've watched about other people doing that to other people and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'm the person now. Like that was me. Like, oh my God, I'm getting to a point where people are thinking that I'm stealing. And that was the other thing. Then somebody left a comment saying, oh, you should go on Reddit. A lot of people think he steals. And I'm like, what? I do Reddit? I was like, I've said Reddit is like my worst nightmare and I don't go on there for a reason. In fact, people will send me Reddit links sometimes for like news stories. I'm like, great, but I don't go and poke around. And I was like, I have people that go on Reddit and nobody's ever said that like they've been talking shit about you. But then I was like, oh shit, are they talking shit about me on Reddit? I didn't go check. But I was like, oh my God, the people, is this a habit? Like, listen, let's all be honest with each other. Anybody that really is deep into Bravo world, you hear these rumors all the time, right? Bravo historian Samantha from the podcast Hot Off the Mess, you always hear things about her stealing things. You always hear it from the Queens of Bravo account. Like I'm not ignorant. Like I see their names pop up all the time on Twitter about people accusing them of stealing. And there's some pretty damning evidence. So who knows, right? But this, I was like, me? What the fuck? I was like, I watermark all my memes. In fact, like usually I'll do one and then you can see people use the same meme format after. I don't know. So I was like, well, I'm not going to get too caught up in that. And I'm not going to search that out because that's just searching out negativity. But it is weird to be on that side of it and go, wow, like that. I absolutely 100% not even close to stealing, not even like that was the thing was that she was like, oh, it probably popped up on his FYP page. And I was like, so then this is somebody that doesn't know me, doesn't listen to the podcast, obviously, because I don't think I come off like a thief on the podcast. And she thinks that I saw that and was like, you know what, I'll keep that in my back pocket. Or like, I was like, that is so, and I was like, that part of it hurt, but I was like, she doesn't know me. So sure, why not? But I do want to also say what my FYP page is, because this is kind of an own on myself. Oh, Obi-Wan Kenobi. The reason the Kenobi trilogy was canceled was because Solo did bad. I get a lot of sci-fi shit and comic books. Okay, here's one. My FYP page has this guy that catfishes catfishers. Let's see here. The farmer's dog. That's an ad. That's on my FYP page. This girl singing. Stranger Things, because I've been obsessed with Stranger Things. Comfy with Carrie, 9 things I will never tolerate in a relationship again. Somebody driving over somebody in a wedding procession. Northwest has a message for paparazzi watching her. I get a lot of Kardashian stuff. Let's try to get to a Housewives thing. DVDs. I love watching this one account that he buys DVDs. Post Malone. My COVID experience. You're a burglar. This is how easy it is to start earning a high pay. I can't. I'm going to stop doing that, but I have not hit a housewife thing yet. Unfortunately, my interest in housewives is kind of taken over my whole life. So when I get on TikTok, I'll make videos about Bravo things. And I follow like Yolanda Pfister, who is brilliant. He's been on the show before. That dude is amazing. Like that dude has a mind otherworldly. Couldn't even copy him if I wanted to. Like that is a uniquely singular mind. But my thing is like vinyl deals, superhero stuff, Kardashian. It's like a really embarrassing pimple popping videos, which I actually like. Like those are the FYP pages I get, embarrassingly enough. So I know that it makes sense and you want to believe, like people want to believe dirty bean things about people. I get it. I'm right there with you. That's what I do for a living about reality stars. And I guess I have to be used to people starting to think really weird things about me. But I wanted to talk about it because it's really important, but also it's really damaging, not for you guys, because you guys know me. You just want to hear the recap and you're like, get over it, buddy. but it's for people that don't know me. Like, that's really damaging. Like, to even put that out there for somebody that doesn't know me, I'm still growing. And for somebody that put out this rumor about like stealing, like, it's not cool. Like, I know this girl didn't mean anything of it. I know she doesn't know me. I know, and I'm not, but it's not cool. It just isn't, especially when I didn't. And I think that is, I hate to say that we can all have similar thoughts, but in this case we did. And I'll drop it, but I just thought it was really important to talk about because it really bothered me. And if there's one thing I'm truly proud of, is this podcast and what I've done with like the Instagram page. My Twitter is like complete shit, but I'm really proud of what we have built here. And I will assure anybody that I damn well don't steal. I fucking watch these shows so many times. I think about these shows. I talk about these shows with other people. What I don't do is I don't steal other people's material. And if you have some kind of hard proof, if you please bring it on. But that is just not me. And it never will be me. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I have a million weird ideas every damn day. And I'm obsessed with this stuff. And I'm really proud of it. It's like the only thing that I have is my weirdness. The only thing I have is my take on things. And when I see somebody else with my take on things, I feel a little less alone. I don't feel like people stole from me, or like I feel like, oh, cool, we're of similar ilk. We, like you guys, I feel like, we're a club, we're a group, we're a gang, but definitely I just don't steal. So I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to get that off my chest. We're only 48 minutes into the show, but I will not apologize because Maritza and Sandra are making me pay into like a cuss bucket every time I apologize on the show. And I have to put money in. And then they get to split the money every time I say I'm sorry on the show. So I'm not going to say I'm sorry. But since we talk about everything here, I wanted to talk about that. Okay, moving on. Thank you for being here. Do you guys know Ultimate Girls Trip? This Brandy Glanville, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She is on Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. And guess what? Not only is she a reality star, but she is a podcast star as well. But now she is also a recording artist. Brandy Glanville just dropped her first song called Life of a Housewife. She has released her first single, you guys, and I don't think I can play it for rights, but I'm going to read you some of the lyrics. And I need you to go to Spotify or Apple Music and listen to it for yourself. Because when I first put it on, I was expecting the lyrics that you'll hear, but I was not expecting the voice. I was not expecting the like, what's going on? She uses this weird rap kind of, listen, it's a choice and it's going to stick in my head for the rest of my life. Like, this thing is going to haunt your dreams. Here are some of the lyrics to this. And if there's kids, earmuff them. She was rapping under the moniker B Jeezy. That's B-G-E-E-Z-Y, B Jeezy. Great rap name. I'm RBZ. And she kicks off the track by declaring that she's going to tell the truth and do it to the max. And that's kind of one of my mottos. If you're going to do something, do it to the max. So I'm already like, oh my God, is this a Grammy winning song already? And I used to dissect lyrics for songs in the first iteration of this podcast, the first year. And I don't do that anymore. And I'm not going to do it now, but here's some of the lyrics. Fuck them other housewives, better watch their backs, because I'm spitting out the motherfucking facts. Boner alert. Oh my God. Watch out, Kanye. Gee, like, that is, what a rap. That is that, and when I was going through like, what is a rap? The number one thing, I don't know if you guys know this at home, is it rhymes. And right away, she has rhymed better watch their backs with motherfucking facts. So all of a sudden you're like, oh, this truly is a rap song. She's like, you got to hear it. Like, you truly got it. Can I play a snippet of it? Is that going to be illegal? I mean, what it's like, I just want you to hear the voice she's using. It's otherworldly. I keep comparing things to Stranger Things because I'm trying to watch it and I'm obsessed with it. But let me see here. First, workshop, taking cups, selling rocks to pay the rent. How would they get all the money they spend? Okay, you guys, that wasn't me just making sounds like you. That was the actual song. So she in this song, she makes several specific disses, according to E! Online, against her fellow Bravo co-stars Kyle Richards. She says, "Not stealing cars, but stealing houses." Countess Luann, mugshots, kicking cops. She goes after Real Housewives of Potomac's season 6 candle storyline with Wendy and Karen. She says, making headlines with the scandals, fighting over fucking candles. 1 wick, 2 wick, 3 wick, 4. Which new wife will they call a whore? I mean, is Brandy Glanville the Weird Al Yankovic of Housewives artists? I mean, because we have the Erica Jane, we have this, but this is she kind of like Weird Al? I truly am inspired by this. And Brandy, like, listen, I want Brandy to come on this podcast. I need Brandy to come on this podcast at this point. People like, listen, Brandy, you really should do the show. She's doing shows that have like half the listenership. Like, Brandy, come on the show. She also does nods to Teresa's table flip from Jersey, Cherie Whitfield's Who Gonna Check Me Boo. And the line Life of a Housewife is rounded out by a chorus that repeats the title track, followed by money, fame, that's the game. Money, fame. Like, listen, I'm going to blast this if I go driving. I don't really drive much anymore, but I have a Toyota Corolla. I'm really proud of it, even though the side view mirror is hanging off right now. Somebody smashed into it. And I'm just going to blare it. I'm going to go up and down Melrose and go, what's going on? Isn't it Brandy Glanville? What's going on? I'm a motherfucking housewife. You know, like, wouldn't it be so hard? Like, it'd be like, people would be like, who the fuck is that baller, dude? Who's the dude in the Corolla? That is amazing that he's blasting that. And I think, like, if I stopped at a light, girls would be like, check this dude out. And I'd be like, you listen to B Jeezy? What up? What up? B Jeezy, y'all. So Brandy Glanville, congratulations to you. Also, really, while we're on that tip, and I'll go way into that more on the Patreon, Dorinda, man, the 5th episode of Ultimate Girls Trip came out today, and Dorinda is, listen, I know she was put on pause, but I don't think she ever coming back to New York the way, like, I find Ultimate Girls Trip actually really fun to talk about. And I find it really entertaining in this weird, dark way, which a lot of entertainment now is dark. And they're all characters that we know, and some of them we love, some of them we don't. But how is Dorinda almost sometimes coming off as the worst one on this show? And the sad thing is that, like, she does drink, and like, she just won't accept, like, the reason I say any of this, like, I love Dorinda so much that I want her to be the best version of herself. And what if, let me posit another theory. What if maybe drinking isn't her friend? What if, like, she just took a break and see how she felt? And I know that sucks because some people can drink and they're awesome. They're awesome and nothing changes and everything's good. But then, like, there's some people that it completely changes their personality. And maybe, you know, seeing that you got put on pause and seeing that everybody keeps saying these things, it's like she doesn't want to accept the fact. She doesn't even want to entertain it. So she just ignores it and says they're haters, like Kim Kardashian. Like, I don't listen to haters. But, like, what if we're kind of just saying the truth, and we're saying it because we truly, truly like Dorinda? I want her to be better. So, but like, and I don't think, listen, when Dorinda is sober, like, she's pretty intense, but she's really lovable at times, and she's really kind of a special lady. But when she drinks, it's like this demon comes out, and there's so many other demons in that house, in that Bluestone Manor. I mean, come on, you got Vicky, you got Tamara. Like, how is Dorinda starting to come off as the worst one of all of them? And it really sucks because I'm like, oh my God, she would have been a ringer to come back for Roni if this was not released. But I almost think this hurts her chances of ever getting back on Roni. Like, you could say she'll definitely get on Legacy, and maybe she will for a season, but I don't know. Like, I feel like this is a lot of gambling, because then it almost takes over the storyline every episode. At a certain point, Dorinda has a recurring storyline where she drinks at night, and it just, wheels come off. And I think that is a very dangerous place to be at if you're a cast member, and especially when she just won't accept the fact. And I also think she's like, well, I can get up the next morning and do things, so I wasn't really hammered. But also, that's just kind of metabolism and the way your body works. Listen, my body, it's so, when I drink now, like, I haven't drank in like a minute, like, since I had a couple of drinks this weekend, but like, I don't do it to myself because I know I have to do this and wake up early and all this. I like drinking, but like, I even know I can't do it like I used to do it. It doesn't work. And as I get older, I'm like, oh my God, is there a point where I'm going to just have to give it up completely because I have too many things to do. It's like why I don't love pot, because if it's pot, it's like, oh my God, now I'm like in my head, sometimes paranoid, sometimes not, sometimes laughing uncontrollably. But I definitely couldn't podcast while I was high. I definitely couldn't. And like, that's the thing. It's like, you got to work. You got to, it's like, it's not worth it to take a trip for like 6 hours unless you're on mushrooms. Ew. So that was my thoughts on Ultimate Girls Trip. I can't wait to hear what you guys think about it, but it's weird because it kind of takes over the entire conversation. Of course, there's an all new Southern Charm on tonight, Thursday night. We'll be talking about that on Tuesday's show. There is tons of news. I'm sorry, I'm reading this. I'm reading this email. I just opened this. Emily Zuber writes, I watched You've Got Mail because you always talk about it, and it's about to get removed from Netflix, apparently. Lisa Rinna literally looks like Meg Ryan in that movie, but with worse lips. Maybe she's just stuck in the 90s. That's all I have. I love this kind of email. Emily, thank you so much. First off, wow. I'd love, You've Got Mail is great because it's really, when we all used AOL, it's like the beginning of using these things. And now looking back on You've Got Mail, it's quaint. It's like, oh, the good old days of technology. And now it's like consumed everything. But that's a great observation, Emily. So bad it's good with Ryan Bailey at gmail.com. If you want to email any thoughts like Emily's, I really truly did love that thought. Trying to see what else I emailed to talk to you guys about, but I think maybe that's it. Oh, there was a story I'll probably save for Monday about Addison Rae's dad. Addison Rae's dad, turns out he's super creepy. He's still married to the mom, but he was like in a relationship with this 25-year-old. And then he was also hitting on this 19-year-old at a club, like grabbing her butt. And like it got posted on TikTok last week. And now all of these like text messages and stuff, like Page Six did this huge article on how creepy Addison Rae's dad is, allegedly. But this 25-year-old came and was really in love with him and like has all these text messages. And he was still with the wife, and he was like double dealing. He was like, with the wife and with this. And he was telling the 25-year-old that he was going to be, he was like divorced and getting divorced and stuff, and that they were going to be a power couple. And I'm just like, damn, man, that is dark. The other dark thing, Dumois, I think she might have talked about it on her podcast because I was flipping through her stories. And she was talking about underground sex clubs in Los Angeles that like there's like a $20,000 entrance fee that a lot of celebrities go to. And somebody was like, a couple of people left, putting comments, and she was putting them on her stories. And one, I think it was a girl, said she went to one of these because I think girls get in free, but the guys have to pay like an exclusive membership fee. And she saw Bill Maher there once. Like, as a woman, wouldn't you dip out the moment you saw Bill Maher at a sex club? You'd be like, oh, you know what? Sex isn't really that big of a deal. Wouldn't you be like, it's like me walking around a sex club. People be like, you know what? I'm good. I'm probably going to call it early. Maybe I'll go to a Starbucks. Like, I just think so it's like, which that's the darkness. It's just like rich people, rich, ugly celebrities paying for sex with hot girls. Oh, the darkness. I shouldn't have said that out loud. When you read things and you're like, oh, this will be fun to talk about. And then you say it out loud and you're like, this is that's just gross. Now I'm picturing Bill Maher having sex, and I never want to do that ever again. We have fun here. Okay. Ultimate Girls. Oh, this was the other thing. Two things. Real Housewives of Atlanta, the mid-season trailer got released today, and it looks like the first half of the season is like so. Like, it's still good. They're still amazing. Still watch it every week. But the mid-season trailer, you guys, it's like they have like this TV that like they're flashing images on. And once again, when I first saw it, I was like, is this Stranger Things? I'm comparing everything to Stranger Things right now. Like, I am so obsessed with Stranger Things on Netflix. But it wasn't. It was Real Housewives of Atlanta mid-season trailer. And the back half of the season looks insane. Get into it. Cherie, I think Apollo shows up. It's like, you guys got to check it out. I'm going to take some notes on it and do a bit about it on the Monday show, but I want you to watch it before then. And also, Best of Bravo reported on her Instagram, I saw that Dina Manzo and Teresa Giudice have had a falling out, and she is no longer in the wedding or going to the wedding. Isn't that insane? Now, Dina, just to remind you, used to be on Jersey. I always remember Dina as the lady with the hairless cat, but also Dina's beautiful. Also the sister of Caroline Manzo. And Caroline Manzo and Dina Manzo don't talk. It's almost like Dina chose Teresa over her own flesh and blood, which is very anti-Godfather. Rest in peace, James Caan. So Best of Bravo is confirming that this is true, that they have had a split, and it's supposedly something to do with Louis and Dina's boyfriend and Dina's dude. I don't know if they're married, but anyways, supposedly something like that, which is like, yo, guys, where there is smoke, there is fire. Listen, they might be in a love bubble and it's everything that Teresa's ever wanted in her life. But this guy gives people the ick. Truly. I need to know more about this story immediately. But the fact that she is not going to the wedding, she was in the bridal party and not like, dude, maybe this guy isn't a good guy. It's not so like we have all of these examples, yet he almost had this weird glow up season on Jersey. And at the reunion, he was like, I'm here, I'm sticking up for, and everybody's like, okay, we like you now. We like you. And I saw a lot of you guys even tweeting like, he seems like a good guy. That's what con artist weirdos do. They seem like good guys. That's the whole bit. How many documentaries do we have to watch before we start believing what all of these women say? Like, it's like weird. It's like we've seen this so like, what's that like? Isn't there even a slogan like "believe women"? Something like but we never do. We never do. And listen, I just think I don't know, but for Dina to back out, to me, Dina, even like that's what I'm saying. Dina took her side over her sisters, but on this one, she's out. Need to know way more. Because if that's the case, then Louis potentially is allegedly a bad guy, as I say allegedly for everything, because like allegedly, they're allegedly horrible. Who knows? Okay, so that happened too. Need to find out more about that. Let's get into this, okay? Do you mind if we finally start the Beverly Hills recap? Remember, there will be a timestamp, so you can skip to the 1 hour and 2 mark and get right into that Beverly Hills stuff, even though what a delightful conversation we've had thus far. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break. Okay, real quick, I do want to mention Stranger Things one more time because I truly in love with that show right now. Like when I got sick with COVID last week, I was like, okay, I'll start watching Stranger Things, but I was like reluctant about it. I was like, I told you this earlier in the week, but then I was zooming through it, really loved it, think it's great. And then I'm at season 4 and it's all I want to do is watch. And I've got so much work and I have to go to bed early tonight. And I'm just going to keep thinking what those crazy kids are up to. I'm on episode 5 of the final season and there's 9 episodes of this season. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, got 4.5, like 4.75 more episodes to go. But then the fucking last episode, you guys, is 2.5 hours long. And I've been trying to avoid spoilers, even though I found out the fucking Vecna and all, pisses me off. I'm like, man, there should be, it pisses me off. But anyways, really love the show. And I thought in my head that the 4th season was the final season. And I was like, oh, it's done. It's completely over. And then I found out there's a whole nother season that they haven't even filmed yet. And I'm like, it's like now I'm going to have another show that I'm like, oh, I can't wait for this show to come back. Like that pisses me off. What We Do in the Shadows, by the way, is a great show on FX. It's coming back next week for a new season. I'm really excited about. Turns out there's just going to be great shows for the rest of our lives. It's getting to be too much though, but I'm almost caught up to Stranger Things, but it's truly the only thing I was thinking about. In fact, I watched Ultimate Girls Trip today and I was like, wouldn't it be cool if the kids from Stranger Things came to Bluestone Manor and they did the final season there and Dorinda was like a Vecna kind of character that haunted Bluestone Manor and all the kids had to band together like little 11 or noses bleeding trying to fight Dorinda and stuff. Like, wouldn't that be cool if like that's the crossovers I want to see? By the way, I didn't steal that idea. Just everybody know I was watching Stranger Things. But that's the next thing I want Bravo to tackle is interspersing reality show characters with fictional characters. It's probably going to be pretty expensive, but wouldn't that be amazing if you could get or didn't you always ever think this of like, wouldn't it be amazing to get like do a remake of that shitty movie Cloverfield with the Cloverfield monster, but have it with the Real Housewives of New York? Like, wouldn't that be amazing? Like all of a sudden you think you're watching a housewife show and everyone was like, I don't know. I'm going to meet this guy today. Okay. And then all of a sudden we're here like, oh, and like what? And like a monster attacks New York. And the full episode is just them trying to run for safety. And Ramona's like, I'm pooping everywhere. I'm pooping everywhere. And Dorinda's like, shut up, run. And the cow, like who would be the first one to die? Like who would be the first one that just gives up? Like, like I'm trying to think who would really, because I always have that theory of like, if we do a zombie apocalypse, I'll die immediately because I won't fight. Like I'll fight for a second and then I realize, oh, way stronger than I am. I guess I'm getting eaten. Like I give myself like 5 minutes tops. Like all these people on the shows, like Stranger Things, everybody's like fighting for survival. This dude hops over in Russia and he's like, I would have been just like, yep, I'm here in Russia trapped for the rest of my life. This guy's making escape plans and shit. Not me. But wouldn't that be amazing? It was just like, wouldn't you love to see real life events? Well, not real life, movie events, but then put it into the reality show form with these. Wouldn't you love to see Nene fight some kind of alien? Wouldn't you? This is what happens when I watch something other than Housewives. Then it becomes like it's so brand new to me because I'm just used to watching ladies fight that I'm like, ooh, science fiction. That's what I'm saying. My For You page on TikTok is all not housewife shit because I watch all like I'm a nerd too. Like I was watching Obi-Wan Kenobi and I was watch Doctor Strange on Friday, and I'll probably watch that Thor movie. And you guys kind of know that about me, but you don't really know like the sickness I have. Like I have like Batman action figures and stuff. I'm pretty cool. But I also have a Tom Girardi framed photo right here. For all you YouTubers, that's an official Tom Girardi lawyer photo. So it's called a Renaissance man. Look it up. It means I like everything. Cool guy. Don't mess with the collar. So, okay, Stranger Things. Okay, but now we're on to the main event. Finally, an hour and 7 minutes in. The main event, fuck it. It's the weekend. Let's party, man. Let's do this. Okay, so this is episode 9 of Real Housewives of the Beverly Hills. And the description, the title, you guys, get this, is called Calamity Jane. Now, Calamity Jane, of course, is like, I think that's like an old Western lady, like Calamity Jane, but they're using it as their title. So if we were to break that down, I'm like, Calamity Jane, what does that mean? What does that mean? Calamity. Calamity means something like bad happening, right? Like, that's what a calamity. And Jane, I did some research, and if I'm not mistaken, Erica Jane is that name. So Calamity Jane. So I'm like, oh my God, are they making, and my mind couldn't even, I was like, oh my God, is that Calamity Jane, Erica Jane? And I was like, oh my God, is Erica Jane the old school Calamity Jane from the West? And I was like, oh no, they're making a joke. So great title. Usually they're not as sticky as that. Like they're sticky of like once bitten, twice shy, that kind of shit. But like they actually did a character, and so I was like, oh, is this all based around Erica Jane? And it's not. So I think it's kind of a weirdly unfair title, even though that is potentially one of the bigger storylines about this. Erica got wasted at Garcelle's 55th birthday party. So the show description, though, is what TV Guide says this is Erica lands in hot water with Garcelle over some choice words, which I'm like, yo, TV Guide, why don't you tell us the words right off the bat? Because my head goes to the worst place, Kyle tries to atone for some words of her own. Ooh. Lisa is amused by Diana's new look. Crystal tries to help Dorit with her ongoing anxieties. Lisa is amused by Diana's new look. Was that when she went? That was barely like Lisa's amused. Like it was like barely a second. What, Lisa's amused by Diana's new look? What are you talking about? That's the stupidest description line the rest were fine, but that Lisa one, what a bad, I hate that. Horrible, you guys. Episode 9. Now, remember, we are still on the first part of this season. It feels like with all the discourse and all of this stuff that we are nearing the end. And let me assure you folks, unfortunately or fortunately, we are not. I mean, aren't they usually like 24 episode seasons plus 8 billion reunions? It's Beverly Hills. And remember, they pioneered the 4-part reunion last season. Can we get it to 5 parts? Bravo's going to try, but we've got a full season ahead of us. And let me once again remind you of something that we all talk about every week. Kathy Hilton. We still really don't have a Kathy Hilton, even though we get a Kathy Hilton tease in this episode. We get a quick flash, a whiff of Kathy Hilton, if you will. But then we also get a whiff of Teddy Mellencamp and that same thing. And the stench of Teddy is almost, the excitement of seeing Kathy, but then seeing Teddy right after it, where it was like, well, Okay, that evens that out. So we get into this episode, and just to take you back, how these episodes work, because Bravo truly thinks that we forget pretty much immediately as we watch. So Bravo's like, these dummies will not remember last week or any of the scenes previously. So they're always like, previously on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Once again, I truly don't know who these are for, these previously on. Like, guys, I remember all these clips, and you guys remember them, but let's dive in. We're like, Garcelle and Cherie are in a park. Remember, we met Cherie Zampino, her friend. She joined the cast last week, and she's in this episode as well. So they're talking in the park where Garcelle's like, I want to do a big party, a big all out party for my 55th. And she's like, you got to. And then we cut to Erica falling on the boat. I'm like,
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm lit. Celine Dion.
you know, her being wasted on the boat. And then we see Reno on the beach eating with the ladies going, I feel good, you know, waking up, you know, I feel my mom, I feel her presence. I feel it now more than I did. Listen, if I'm on a beautiful beach somewhere, I will probably feel all of my ancestors. If I am in a beautiful, happy place, I'm probably going to key into like everybody that's ever meant anything. And especially if you give me a glass of wine on top of it, I'll be like, I feel everybody in my bones. I love the world. I'm in touch with all of my ancestors. Then, of course, we have the tragic black and white video of the guys breaking into Reed's house from the beginning of season. And she's like, it's going to haunt me for the rest of my life. Beep, boop, beep, boop, boop, boop. And then we go to that Sutton scene from a couple episodes ago when they were in the trip to Punta Mita, where she's like, I'm a very good person. I'll say, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. When she was just at a table exploding on Crystal, and Diana was there, you know. And then we see Diana go, there's a lot more to her, Sutton, than I thought. Not in a good way. Damn, Diana is really, and I know my accent is not like, listen, I'm not going to win any kind of Emmy. I might win a Tony for this, but they're not great impressions. But at the same time, and not my accent, throw that out the window. But just Diana's overall presence, I keep thinking about it all week. Like she's haunting me like the Stranger Things Vecna guy. She's like, Ryan, wake up. You're very naughty and you smell like cheese. She you smell like cheese. She kind of reminds me of like a Bond villain. Like, Mr. Bond, you will not last very long here. I will kill you. Because nothing out of I'm trying to really, by the end of the season, I'm going to figure this out. It's like a riddle, because I'm trying to understand Diana, and I can't really understand. I don't understand why she's there in the first place, because she's already really rich. She's pretty. She has a boy toy. She has a baby. Like, she seems like she has the life. Why do this? She doesn't need it. Like, Rinna needs the paycheck. Like, I feel like Rinna is that girl that you work with that lives paycheck to paycheck. She's like, I bought the shoes. Now I just have to eat water for the next couple of weeks. Rinna needs the paycheck. Diana doesn't. And I'm like, well, does Diana really need this? Like, listen, I bitched and complained about 2 negative comments online this week, right? I did it for 45 minutes on the pod. But does Diana really want all of us poking around all the time into every one of her past things? We've now come up with the Room 23 book that she allegedly potentially was a Hollywood madam, that she allegedly trafficked, like really horrific things that I cannot prove at all, nor have I done any research, and I'm not going to, because we've established I'm lazy. But just horrible rumors. Like, you know, listen, you can say I stole an idea, but the next, like, the person that's like, and by the way, Ryan traffics women, I would be like, holy shit. Like, I would like, I gotta quit. It's too much. I traffic women. Like, that would put my parents and me in an early grave. So, but Diana also, she doesn't, there's inflection, but it's so light that, you know how normal people, if they're upset, you'll be like, oh no, you know, your voice, or if you're happy, you're like, I love you. And you can tell somebody's smiling. With Diana, it's all like, I'm very happy right now, the happiest I've ever been. But in the same voice, she would be like, I'm so angry at you, Sutton. I will eat your liver and piss on your blood to your bones. You know, like, there's no, so you can't, when you're having some kind of conversation with Diana, there never seems to be a change. And she has so much filler in her cheekbones. And the only reason I know this, like I said, is because there's photos to compare it with. And she looks great. I mean, she does, but it makes her, when she smiles, it makes sure she has a smile where it's like, this is a big YouTube clip, you guys. If you want to head over to YouTube. it's like she squinches like, and her eyes are just little slits then because her cheeks are so full of what is that filler? What is that like cheekbone implants? And it makes it even more indecipherable of what she's actually feeling. Like she looks happy all the time, but we know that she's not. Like, I hate you, Satin. But she's like smiling as she says it. And the cheekbones are like, I can't see her eyes. She is hard to read. This girl needs to be in the World Series of Poker. She would win hands down. So also last week with Sutton is like, you're a soulless person, Diana. Because Sutton goes over there to try to have this conversation with Diana and try to like make amends. And it really just, it doesn't go well. Like, and I do want to point out, I'm falling even more in love with Sutton. Like I truly am, because Sutton is not only an underdog, but I pointed this out with Emma on Comments by Celebs, their podcast today. I said, you know, we met Sutton the first season. She stuck her foot in her mouth immediately. She does it every season, a couple times a season. I imagine Sutton's the kind of person that does this on a daily basis, that will say something that she doesn't mean hurtful, but it comes off completely hurtful and people get upset around her all the time. She's like, oh man, I did it again. I'll say, how do I do it again? I can't believe old Sutton Strike did it, when she came onto the show, remember when she told, and this, I think she was a hero for this, but she's like, oh my God, Teddy Mellencamp, I heard you were born, and Teddy like burst out into tears at that dinner table. And so it's like, well, I didn't mean, I was saying you're not born. I just said, I heard you were born. And if you notice, that's just Sutton. She sticks her, like the way she says things, she's truly not to hurt people's feelings, but they always take it the worst. And I'm not excusing that. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying, but like there is that thing we've got to realize that is a habit of hers. And we always find, and the reason I really kind of root for her, because you can realize like, oh man, I did it again. Oh, Sutton Strike, you did it again, you scoundrel, you rascal, you. She's always talking to herself like, oh man, I really stepped in it this time. Like, because she truly didn't mean it. And I think that's kind of weirdly fascinating for me. Also, when I did see she has a house party, you guys, the house is not completely finished, but she wanted to have the girls over to see all the hard work put in to the house. And I kind of want, like, half of it I was watching and I was enjoying the scene, but half of it was like, someday I'll live there with Sutton. And I was like, oh, this will be the house me and Sutton share. And I was already making some small changes. Like there was one couch. I was like, we are getting rid of that thing. We're not keeping that. I was just kind of making little changes. I was like, oh, we maybe put my leather chair over there. I was like, where are we going to put my records? Where are we? I was like, do I get a man cave in here? So far, I haven't seen where that would go, but I think we're going to be very happy there, just to let you guys know. So we left to be continued last week with Diana going, you need a new villain? Here I am. So we open up at the SLS Hotel. It says Garcelle's 55th birthday party. Everybody's dancing, 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 dancing. I'm a dancing machine. You had Crystal and her husband, Rob, which, by the way, fun fact about Rob, I just found this out. He directed The Lion King. It's a Disney movie, very popular. I think you should check it out. It's good. So he's dancing. We found out last week he loves to dance. And then, the bartender, remember, was over serving Erica by Erica's request. I'm like, give me another spicy margarita. Give me another spicy margarita. And so she's over on this couch, this shit can, and Dorit's there, like, oh, I'm here with Erica. And they're all like laughing and all that. And it's like, Erica's like, hey, I almost said, and she's saying something like, hey, I almost said hey to Dorit when you're right here. And she's like hugging Dorit. She's all grabby hands. She's like a drunk. She's like Addison Rae's dad at a club. It's like way too grabby. And Dorit's like, oh, you're in a fun mood. Very, and Erica, you feel, I don't want to say that, but you kind of feel for her. I guess that's what Kyle's whole point is that she had a tough year. So she is cutting loose in every scene. Once you get one drink in Erica, she's already thinking about the second one. And then she's thinking about her little pills in her purse. And she's thinking about, let's just keep this going. I feel free. I can say all the disgusting shit in my head nonstop. I can flirt with weird, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And so Dorit's like, "Woo, we've got a live one here." And already you can tell Erica Jane is just like, "I just want to get in bed with either a man or any of Taco Bell's dollar menu." Do you think she does that? Do you think like with even like the food, has it gotten to a point where she's like,
I must order on the dollar menu, try to save a buck. Huh? Yeah, it all comes out the same.
no, she probably says she probably gets the right. Now I'm really thinking, what do you think? Do you think she tries to save money, or do you think she goes all out still? Even like, because I bet she's used to like the old dinners that used to cost like $1,000 a night, at fancy restaurants. So if she spends like 60, $70 at Taco Bell, which is, you get a house full of tacos, she'll probably do that because it's still really not that much, right? Okay, good. I'm glad we had this talk. So Erica's hugging on Dorit. We cut to Kyle, and Kyle, remember, has come over to the Sutton Diana conversation. And, Kyle's like, say you're sorry. Say you're sorry. Just say you're sorry you lost your baby to Diana. And like, she's like all grabby on Sutton. Like, this truly is a weird moment. And you realize pretty much immediately that Kyle is hammered because Kyle's voice gets, it's even raspier than usual. Sutton's like she's really straining. And I'm like, oh, Kyle is just super hammered. And so I'm like, this is not good already. And so Sutton touches Diana. She's like, don't touch. And Sutton's like, I lost 2 babies. Like, I totally understand, Diana. And then Kyle, you think, that's a really deep statement that Sutton just made. That, in my head, I immediately said she was trying to relate to Diana. And remember, we know Sutton is like that because even on the boat, she thought she was relating to Diana when Diana was like, my brother, he died in the war. And then Sutton was like, well, my dad, he took his own life with a shotgun, I'll say. And she was trying to relate to her, but Diana, for some reason, takes it as like an affront, like she's trying to one up Diana. And I just didn't take it that way at all. I don't know if you guys take it that way. And regardless, Kyle jumps in, this is not Kyle's conversation. She's like, you lost 2 babies. I never heard this before. What? And someone's like, yeah, I had 2 miscarriages. And Kyle goes, I never heard that before. And then Kyle continues, goes, I love you, but honestly, it feels like bullshit. And then Son's like, you're being very strange right now. I'll say, you're being very strange, which, listen, that was polite of Sutton to say you're being very strange when in reality be like, fuck you. Are you fucking out of your mind? Kyle literally goes, I love you, but honestly, it feels like bullshit that you just pulled out of your mouth. Well, I had 2 miscarriages. Did I say 2? I meant 3. I say, hey, you know what? I meant a baker's dozen of miscarriages. How you like that? Yeah, I've just had one right now. I'm having them as we speak. I say, no, like I just did. Come on. Sutton is not that desperate for attention or for people to love her to make up anything about miscarriages. And the fact that Kyle even thought that, and you could tell Kyle the next day was like, oh shit. And I'm sure this week she's like, oh shit, with as much of the discourse that has been on, like, people have written into Netflix to try to get Mauricio's show canceled. Like, it's truly weird, So this whole thing is just going in a very, very bad direction. So Diana is just staring at this weird, like, Kyle's jumping in for Diana. Sutton's just trying to explain things and like, I'm trying to relate to Diana. Come on, I'm being honest, Kyle. And Kyle's like, you're seriously saying you lost 2 babies? And she's like, come on, Kyle, you want me to be compassionate? I say, or not? come on, look me in the eye, Diana, look me in the eye. And Diana Natalia says, like, I'm not falling for it. I see you. And then Sutton's like, oh, okay, Diana, you're not gonna, she's like, if you think this is me being fake, I'll say, well, this is me being real. If you want to be a motherfucker. And she like kind of explodes, which total turn on moment for me. Once again, like hard nips, everything. I was like, whoa, Sutton. Cause Sutton could just break down in tears at this point. She's been accused of making up 2 miscarriages. And then, Diana's not really, buying what Sutton is selling. And, Sutton doesn't collapse. Instead, she goes, you want me to be real? I'll say, if you want to be a motherfucker, like, I was just like, oh my God. I was like, Shanker, like pull out some kind of like weird, rusty, like toothpick that you've carved into a knife. And Kyle sees Sutton and Kyle's like, stop, excuse me. Don't talk to her like that. And she's like grabbing Sutton. She's like hovering over Sutton. She's like shaking the shit out of her. Just really shaking. It's really, and Sutton's like a rag doll, and and Sutton's like, she's asking me to be real. Come on. She said, be real. And Kyle's like, stop, Sutton, stop. And then Diana in a talking head goes, we have a saying in English. No, you have a saying in English. We hit new low. We hit a new low. We say it in English. And then Sutton says, well, when it comes to miscarriages, that's really mean, Kyle. That is really mean. And Kyle goes, I don't know. How would we know? How would, come on. She lost a baby. Diana lost a baby and you did, man. I don't know, maybe years ago, well, whatever it wasn't recent, Kyle says. It was like, there is a term limit on when you should feel bad about miscarriages. Like, what? Kyle, this is like, Kyle truly is waste-oided here. Like, it's just not even, she's like, Diana's had a more recent miscarriage and that's why she wins. And in a talking head, Son's like, what does that even mean? We don't know means I'm lying. Come on, because Kyle Richards doesn't know about my miscarriage because I didn't tweet at Kyle Richards. I had 2 miscarriages. She didn't do the tweet part, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thought behind it. Is that like, oh, since I didn't let who listen, friendships, and remember, they're still sort of new for a couple years. Like, do you really get into the most insane parts of your life away from the show with these people? Would I ever tell Rinna a deep, dark secret? Are you fucking out of your mind? Hell no, because she would use it against me. I would not tell any. Oh, by the way, did you guys see that Thor Love and Thunder? It's playing in the background commercial with Kyle and Dorit. Truly made me not want to see the movie now. Like, I was like, this is like they did one of those horrible commercials within the actual show. And it's so bad. It's good. It's truly, we could do a whole episode on just those things. Remember when the Real Housewives of Atlanta ladies did the Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange, months ago? Anyways, sorry, it was just on that. So I wanted to mention that. But yeah, Kyle, sorry that you didn't know about this. It doesn't mean somebody's a liar. And Son's like, well, that is the meanest thing you ever said in my life. I'll say, come on, it is breaking my heart. It is disappointing our friendship. And Sutton's like, she's acting like I'm the devil. I'll say. And then Diana goes, are you the devil? Ha, ha, I don't know. Like, I swear to God, Diana, the way she talks, it's like the last scene of like a movie in a scary preview. Like, we hear you. And then I think that one big scare. Those, like the horror movie trailers of like, I see dead people. Like Diana, everything she's like, maybe you are devil. I don't know. Ah. And so it's like, no, come on now. I'll do anything to help. Honestly, what is happening here? I'll say, I would never in a million years. Come on. And she's like crying, like she's like, and Sutton's like, and Diana's like, it's good, baby. It's good. It's okay. And then Sutton's like trying to hug Diana. It's like, it's like this really weird, awkward hug. She's like, it takes time to know people. It takes time. which in no way in my head did I think that was like it. Like you could tell it's that thing that you say to that person that you want to get out of the argument and they were starting to cry and you're like, I just want this over. So Diana said like, it takes time to know people. It takes time. Let me go now. Let me out of here. Um, and in a talking head, Diana goes, in general, I feel there is something off with Sutton. Until I figure what that is, it's probably not best to poke me. That is fucking like that. I pissed myself. I was so scared. Like, it's best not to poke me. Like, really, like that fucking scared. Like, that is oddly threatening when somebody says it in this kind of detached voice. Like, don't poke me. You never know what happened if poked. You know what I'm saying? The lack of inflection and all of that. It's like chilling. And she goes, all good, babe. All good. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, Sutton is not long for this earth. I'm like, just like, oh no. And Sutton's like, okay. And they all get up and, we see them pass like Erica and Garcelle. And so she's like, it's all good. I'm telling you, it's all good. But it's just half-assed and the hug. And Kyle's like, oh, you ladies, I can't literally with you two because they're hugging. It's like, oh, everything's Kyle's like, oh, everything's good. Let's fake hug. And that's what even Diana says in a talking head, like, let's fake hug, blah, blah. And Kyle goes, I can't. I'm going to go get my drink. Bye. And then she does splits. And then Kyle is asked with the other ladies. They're like, is Sutton crying? And Kyle's like, always. I truly believe Kyle loves making fun of Sutton. I think it is one of her pastimes. I truly think Kyle looks down on Sutton. I just think the thing about friend groups, you always pick on. So I think they think Sutton is weirdly weak. Diana then leaves Sutton. And, as she does, Sutton is with her assistant, Joshua. She's like, oh, now I feel like the worst person ever. I'll say, I truly believe Sutton gets in bed at night and just goes, oh my God, I offended so many people today. I'll say, oh, you did it again, old Sutton Shrek. Oh man, someday they're going to kick you off of that ballet committee. They're not going to let you own no minor league baseball teams with as many people as you hurt, Sutton Shrek. Man, I got the worst luck. We cut to Crystal hugging Diana at her car because Diana's with her boy toy Asher, and Crystal's like, you all right? Let's everything good? And I'm like, it's good. I'll see you later, baby. Sutton grabs her assistant. She's like, get a fucking car. Let's go. Sutton just wants out. Now we're still there at the party. Erica goes to Garcelle. She's like, where's your fucking hot son? Where's your hot son? And we see Oliver, and they have his age, Oliver, 30, very handsome young man. And Erica goes, I want to speak with you, Oliver. Get your hot ass over here. Yeah, get your hot ass. And Erica sticks one of her fucking legs in the air and like her skirt, like full vag happening, and Dorit's still clinging onto her. I'm just like, oh my God. Ooh. Which reminded me of the thing like talked about last week of like PK, like you don't got no knickers on. And I was just like, put your legs down. My God. Like the people that work at the SLS don't get combat pay. Like nobody is like, Jesus God, you're flashing the entire, like, put your legs down, okay? We'll give you another free spicy margarita if you put the legs down. And Garcelle was like, oh my God, the leg lift. What is happening over there? And she's like, Oliver. You married? Huh? You married? You got a baby mama? Huh? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, well, have a contact me in my DMs. We can get it in 3 ways. Threesome. Gross. Like literally like gross. Like, my God, like, Oliver's like, oh, okay, man. Okay, grandma, let's get you to bed. Like Oliver is being a complete gentleman, but this was just like, have your baby mama. Like, what are you trying to like all be hip hop? You don't stop. Like weird. Have your like, oh, is that what the kids are saying? Baby mama? By the way, can we make a fake Oliver's baby mama account and like call it Oliver's baby mama and then just try to DM Erica every day? Oh my God. It is just too much. So you're like, oh no. And Dorit's like, oh, stop. I'm going to short circuit. Stop. And by the way, where was PK and Mauricio during? Like all of a sudden they disappeared. I wonder if they're out like smoking weed in an alleyway or something. And Garcelle's like, Oliver, your mother is calling you. Come here. And Erica's like,
Oliver, be a man. Come on over here. Fuck me. Fuck me.
she doesn't, but she's like,
Oliver, be a man. Yeah, come here. Come here. Hey, hey.
and Oliver's sitting, down. And he's kind of blushing a little bit. He's like,
Yeah, we just wanted to bullshit with you for 5 seconds. Where's your mom?
and he's like, oh, she's over there.
And she goes, we heard a lot about you.
And he's like, she's giving him a once over, like, oh my God. And he's like, good things. And Garcelle comes up and goes, let's go. And Erica goes,
No, I'm talking, trying to get it in. Hey, Garcelle, how large would you say your son is?
she didn't say any of this, but that is really truly the vibe of the scene of like,
come here, baby. All right, Oliver and Erica sitting in a tree. I'm not wearing any panties. Panties. The Ballad of Erica Jane. Where's less? Let's see what you got on.
So Garcelle says, okay. In a talking head, she goes, I get it. Have a drink, let your hair down. But this doesn't feel right. Maybe it's time to reassess your life. Garcelle always being a voice of reason and also just truly scared for her son. Truly like, this is not how I want to see my son with anybody. And Oliver's like, okay, gotta go. And by the way, Oliver probably is like, thank God that who is the crazy, like, who is that lady? And Erica probably is like,
you've never had a hot piece of ass like this hitting on you.
Meanwhile, Oliver's probably been hit on by like supermodels. And like,
yeah, you ever tried a shitty performer? You heard any of my bad songs? Yeah, pretty well done. Huh?
So Diana then she's like not Diana, Crystal is coming to get like flower arrangements. And she's like picking them up for other people, like, oh, like maybe Diana wants a flower arrangement. She goes to get it. Jax, Garcelle's 14-year-old son, is following Crystal, and he picks up flowers in front of Erica and Diana. And it's like really harmless. Like, we've all seen her son, like real, chill, good looking kid, and all of a sudden Erica comes to life like some like she just like farted up like my grandpa used to do. And she's like,
what are you doing? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You get drunk.
She's like that old dude and Stand By Me when they're like, oh no, that the junkyard owner has a dog. We don't want to wake the dog. And Erica's the dog. Erica's the junkyard.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get all you kids. Get the fuck out of here.
It was so alarming. And even Dorit's like, oh, calm down. And then they're talking to us, is like, I know she's joking around, but he's 14 years old. I feel sick to my stomach. That classic Dorit. I'm so caring. I'm Dorit. And Dorit's like, he's just getting flowers for his mama. I love Dorit saying things like, I'm a mama bear. My mama, Jagaloo. I'm a mama bear. Oh, he's getting flowers for his mama. You mean his mom? No, his mama. Come to your mama. I am Dorit, mama to the world. Garcelle is like, wait, what's going on? Because Jax has come outside and relayed the story. And Garcelle's like, what? Erica said that to you? And then Garcelle's like, no. And Garcelle comes back in and goes, Erica, you hurt Jax's feelings. Don't talk to him like that. That's not okay. And Erica's like,
Garcelle, you serious? Nothing serious? Hey, Jax. Yeah, come here, man.
And Garcelle's like, nope, she's done. Let's go. And Erica whispers through, he goes,
wow, she was really pushing it. Yeah, Garcelle really pushing it.
And Garcelle's getting in the car going, that's not okay. It's not okay. Let's go. So end of that scene. Already, we're 7 minutes in, and it's just like, holy balls. Don't you come on, man. Wouldn't you guys have paid, I don't know, $5-10 extra to see the rest of that night? Like, this is what I'm saying. If we attach GoPros to each of these ladies, we get like a Big Brother experience. Like, wouldn't you die to know where Erica went from that point on? Like even if she didn't talk to anybody for the rest of the night, I want to see how she got dropped off. I want to see her going into the place. I want to see her opening the refrigerator. What she, I just picture she's like guzzling like a Sunny D. It's like, like I want to see it all. Does she sleep in her clothes? Does she take her makeup off? Does she have gas? Like I want to see it all. So we cut to, oh my God, I just want to talk about this one commercial, not the Thor one. That was very scary, but I saw an Angry Bird commercial with Melissa Gorga and Christine Quinn. And did you guys see that commercial? All of a sudden I was like, what the fuck? And I realized that was the commercial that they filmed that Sunday when Christine Quinn supposedly had COVID and they were making shit of her because she didn't go to the Selling Sunset reunion. And then we had pics from TMZ of her on set when she said she had COVID. And I was like, it was an Angry Birds commercial. It was wild. So we come back to the show. It's morning in Los Angeles. We see the Capitol Records building. We see people, we see cars, all of that. And we are all of a sudden on the offices of the talk show, The Real, that Garcelle works on. We meet Lauren, the coordinator, and he's like, oh, good. Oh, we had 2 shows today. Okay. And then we take Garcelle to her dressing room, and Robert, her stylist, is there. It's like, good morning. And she's like, he is here to make me up. And what are we wearing first? Okay, we're going to wear the blue dress first, and then we're going to wear the pink. And he's like, why don't we start with the hair? And they sit down. And Garcelle's like, my birthday party was lit. Now, I don't know if I talked about this last week. Now, remember Lonnie Love, who is one of her co-hosts on The Real. And remember when Lonnie Love, that episode with Garcelle where they talked about Erica not giving back the earrings? Remember Lonnie Love telling the story about Erica Jane at that night at the party where she was talking, it's like her and Adrian, maybe the other host or something. And Erica, you can find this clip. Erica was like, yeah, all that shit going on. The people, my people didn't really support me, but the people of, your color, and pointed to the skin, they all have my back. Kind of like saying that African-American people supported her. Like Erica Jane said this drunkenly to Lonnie Love. It's on The Real. I got to find that clip for you guys. And, Robert's like, can we talk about Kyle mopping the floor? Whoa, that floor was clean. And they're like, with her vagina. And then we get a flashback to Kyle doing splits. Now, as a guy that really has a junior high sense of humor, I got to tell you, as like the 6th grader in me just loves to laugh about, like, wouldn't it be funny if Kyle did have to clean the floor with her vagina? I know you ladies are rolling your eyes, but it would be a funny, and like, how long would it take? There's just so many, like, would it get clean? So we're back, and she's telling Robert in the car ride home, Oliver told my 2 sons, Oliver's 30, they're like 14 years old. He said, hey, you guys aged a lot tonight. You guys aged a lot. And, he's like, yeah, there was one corner, there was a good corner. And then there's one corner, which was like the Erica Jane, the EJ Global corner. And they're like, God, how she spoke to Jax. She just has to figure out like her meds and her cocktails. It's got to be either meds or cocktails. So we get that idea introduced again, which we know plays a bigger part in this entire season. Even Rinna gets involved because, Rinna loves to get involved for somebody else's business. So she's telling Robert this. In a talking head, Garcelle goes, I tried to explain to Jax that she didn't know what she was saying. And she goes, I do need her to apologize. I'm sick of her. It's enough. And I love both of these statements, but I do want to also throw down a theory is that she does know what she's saying. This is probably what she wants to say. This is probably like, fine. Alcohol is that kind of great motivator to say the mean shit you've always wanted to see, especially if you're somebody that alcohol doesn't sit well with. That stuff is in you. And I to a degree, like usually, we do have the manners enough not to say those things if we haven't been drinking. But Erica, I think potentially could be a mean person. I know, call me crazy. She could be an asshole. Who knows, And Robert's like, yeah, other people don't love to see that, it's not a good look. All of a sudden, guess what we cut to, you guys? The Hollywood dojo. Yeah, karate. And I was like, cool, like Karate Kid. Like, wouldn't it be cool? I was like, oh my God. In my head, I started thinking of like Cobra Kai and Karate Kid. I was like, oh my God, what if we got like a sensei of the Beverly Hills women? Wouldn't that be cool? But no, it's not that. It's Crystal's sensei. And Crystal's there in person, and he goes, "Welcome home, Crystal, fighting machine." And we meet Rashad. I believe Rashad was the guy that was doing classes with her last season with her kids out back with her daughter, remember, at her house. But now, because, we're all vaccinated for the most part, it's in person. And Crystal's like, Rashad, I told you about my girlfriend had a bad situation. And I was literally like, Erica, like, which every one of these ladies have. And there's like, oh, Dorit. Yeah. Dorit had we get a flashback to a little scene with Crystal and Dorit where she's like, I want you, Dorit, to take a self-defense class with me. And she says, Dorit is really holding it together so incredibly well, but trauma always catches up with you, which I'm sure is completely true. And so Dorit comes in and she's like, thank you for having me. Thank you for bringing me here. Yes, yes. I'm a big believer, beep, boop, 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 in having the tools to defend oneself and your children at all costs. Beep, boop, 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 boop. And he's like saying basic stuff. He's like, oh, like basic, we look to hit people, karate bullshit. And Dorit's like, what if we did some basic stretches? And she really does it. I was like, yo, you ain't the teacher, man. Let Rashad warm us up. She's like, what if we started with basic stretching? Ha ha. And I was like, you are not the teacher, Dorit. What if I now hit a board with my hand and raked it? I am Sensei Dorit, Sensei Kamsley. She relays this story to Crystal. She's like, PK is leaving for London soon. I have to get used to him being gone. It's still very raw what I went through, what I'm going through. It's eternity. But for my children, hopefully they just think of it as another day. They don't realize, basically they don't realize that their mom is as fucked up as she is. And they're talking head. Dorit even takes it one step further. She goes, I feel the trauma in my blood. I am not O negative anymore. I'm trauma negative. I'm trauma. That's intense. I feel the trauma in my blood. And I can kind of I kind of can picture that, or what I'm saying? When you're all just when you get jumpy, when you're just waiting for something bad. I was really unsettled one of the days this week where I was like, I just feel something off. I don't know if it was feeling trauma in my blood, but it felt off. And so now we're doing the actual hitting. And Rashad's like, okay, first, okay, you want to target the eyes, okay? You ladies have nails, okay? So you want to hit them nails across the eyes. And Dorit's into it. He's like, people, ah. And then he's like, okay, hands up, person's approaching. Okay, you tell them to walk back, but they refuse. You hit them with an elbow, then you grab and you knee. And Crystal's like, whoa, I can see Dorit's power right now. I am powerful. I am Dorit Kamsley. People, and Dorit goes, I'm waiting for someone to invade me. I feel sorry for them. I am Dorit. And she goes, I feel anxiety, rage, sadness, hurt. And we see Dorit really thrashing She's like, am I visualizing the men in my home? Sure. Would I do anything different? No. And I was like, really? You wouldn't have done she's so entertaining. She's like, am I visualizing those men in my house? Maybe. Would I do anything differently? No. But what if you had the karate tools? That's what I thought. Whole point. What if you had would you claw, nail, and all of that stuff? That's what I mean, really? You're telling me if we didn't train you in Krav Maga for the next 3 years, we'd keep you in some kind of fight club. We only let you out to fight. We give you just protein. You don't really contact you're just like a fighting machine. You're an animal. You're telling me we put you in that situation. You're not going to use these tools. Come on, Dorit, you better. And the guy's like, you got power. You got strength. And Dorit says, we're little and mighty. And then Crystal hugs her. And I'm like, okay, problem fixed. We're all good. We cut to this restaurant, Il Segreto. And Kyle comes in and the guy's like, buonasera, buonasera. And Kyle sits down and then Sutton sits down. Sutton has this blue book with her. It turns out, you guys, it's a handbag. But the book is Scientology. No, it's just and Kyle's like, oh, what is that? When I see books, and he's like, it's a book puss. You'll imagine my shoes. Look. And we see, Sutton's beautiful shoes. They order. Kyle gets the penne alla norma. Sutton's like, I'm going to try gnocchi. No, I want to do gnocchi. And Kyle's like, okay, so everything good with you? And she's like, did you get your gates? Because Sutton has been waiting for these gates, I guess. And she's like, well, we haven't passed inspection yet. I say, waiting for the hood of my stove. And the food gets delivered, real quick service. And Kyle's like, why is the food so delicious here? Which feels like an ad for this restaurant. And then Sutton's like, hey, you know what? I wanted to talk to you about Garcelle's birthday party. And no, sorry, Kyle says that. I want to talk to you about Garcelle's birthday party. And Sutton goes, well, here's the thing. You come in halfway. Diana and I say we're having a little strange conversation ourselves, And Kyle goes, well, how was that going? Not well, I'll say at all, but it's just the two of us. I didn't even get to the part that I wanted to discuss with Diana. And like I say, you were quite harsh with me. And Kyle's like, well, when I sat down and you were like talking about miscarriage and like I confused me and it's like I do want to apologize. Like I wouldn't think you would make that up, and I don't want you to think I ever would think that, even though I completely said that and we have it on film multiple times. Like I'm like, what, Kyle? We literally have you say that multiple times and you're like, I want you to know I would never say that and I don't even think that, but I have said that and I have thought that it is on film. And Son's like, okay, good. Okay, but good, okay. And like Kyle gives Sutton like a light push, like I would never even say that. And Sutton's like, don't push me. And Kyle's like, I came in because there was odd behavior on your part, and then you said miscarriage, and I was like, what? And it sounds like, I was just relating on a deep, visceral level with Diana. And she's like, that's why I'm apologizing, Sutton. And then this is like, I hate when people, Kyle's like, you are very hard to apologize to. You are it is, you know what? I'm trying to apologize and you're just hard to apologize to. Like, oh my God. And so it's like, well, cause you'll do. And Kyle's like, I'm trying to apologize. And so it's like, well, you kept stepping, and Kyle's like, I'm sorry. Okay. But thanks for meeting me, Sutton. Thanks for letting me get that out. And then Kyle's like, I like you as a friend. And Sutton's like, I like you too. And I'm like, really? Like, I feel like, no, I feel like Kyle doesn't like Sutton as a friend. Sutton, by the way, there's like a wine bottle and like one of those wine carafe things, and she pulls the wine carafe in and acts like it's Diana, which, to be honest, the wine carafe has a little more personality than Diana. And Sutton's like she's like, I was trying, like, this is how me trying to apologize to Diana Jenkins, I'm sorry, Diana. Like, she's doing prop work, even though I don't even think she's trying to be comedic. She's like, this is what I was like, this is me. I'm over here. I'm putting my arm around Diana. And Kyle's like, you know what? You're really hard to apologize to because you just don't shut up. When is the last time you've been apologized to twice, and each time they say worse shit about you because you don't shut up? Like, I'm like, gee, Kyle, this is one of the worst apologies that we've ever seen in Housewives, and that's saying something. And Sutton looks, shocked, and Kyle's like, oh, come here, you big fucking cunt asshole. She didn't say, but like, that's like Kyle, like, come here, you big slow bus person. Come here. Oh, come here. Like, it's like, Kyle, this is not charity. I love Sutton. Leave her alone. She's like, come here, give me some love. And, they hug. And Kyle's like, oh, you sure you're not going to think I'm punching you because you're such a delicate flower? Like, another low blow. Like, what? By the way, I do want to point out none of them have really eaten anything off of their plates. And that Kyle's like, you better eat some of that nogi. You're not taking that all home. Okay, so now we're in a new scene. And we see a Rolls Royce. We see people walking, supposedly around Beverly Hills, even though Kyle lives in Encino. And it is the day before Thanksgiving. And so we are in Kyle's massive kitchen, and she's just stirring the stuffing. Whoa! And then she spills some, and that like dog that's always around Kyle that we see loves to eat leftovers, like, was it Bambi or something? The dog immediately goes for it. That dog is well fed. For like, this is like, everybody that's around Kyle feels like they just accidentally spill shit on the floor. That dog is I feel like next season, the dog's going to have gained like 100 pounds. Like, oh my God, where has all the brie gone? Like, this dog has expensive taste. So Mauricio comes in and he brings in this flower display and he's like, "Hey, all right, you're cooking." Hey. Every time I see Mauricio, I just like, oh, he's fucking high as a kite. Can't believe he runs the agency because I'm just like, how? Like, it makes me upset. Like, if I get stoned, I'm like out. Like, I'm done. I'm toast. I'm like, give me a bag of Doritos and put me in front of a TV. I'm done. Mauricio's out there like selling $1 million homes, like just getting more successful. I'm like, where's that strain of weed? And he puts the flowers down. He's like, oh shit. Oh, scratch the marble. I guess the flower design face thing scratched it. And he's like, who sends flowers like this? And Kyle's like, that's my pot. I gave the florist to make an arrangement in. Dude, you guys, that's like wealth, right? Like when, like sometimes if I go to Trader Joe's, and I'm talking, it's been years, and I'm in a mood, I'll be like, oh, it's pretty flowers. Maybe I'll grab some for myself. They say flowers make you happy, sure. And but this motherfucker, Kyle, is sending her own fancy vases and going like, just do something, just a little nice display for Thanksgiving. I'm like, what? Is it Valentine's Day? Like, when is it Christmas? Like, you're paying flower arrangements for Thanksgiving and you're feeding everybody? Like, these are rich people. And Kyle's like, oh, I need to run out maybe later and get another turkey because we have Alex and his mom. So that makes us 8. And I'm like, really? You knew Alex, by the way, is her daughter's fiance now. We met him before in the show. But like all of a sudden that, like, come on, Kyle, you knew that he was coming. You don't need to run out and get a turkey. I feel like you had to say that so you could bring up Alex and his mom. And Marisha's like, our family is going to keep growing too. It's going to keep growing. And then we get a flashback to Alex talking about having a child. And Kyle's like, I told Farrah it was definitely time to get engaged. You want to spend the rest of your life together. Why wait? And then Mauricio starts doing like some basic math with kids. He's like, next year we'll be 10, then maybe 16, then maybe 22, then maybe 44, then maybe 88, then maybe 172. Then maybe 3. Like, it would be great if that was like, and then the rest of the show was just that. It was 40 minutes of Mauricio multiplying. Eventually we will take over the world like Nick Cannon and Elon Musk. By the way, though, he's like 10, 16, 22. I was like, okay, he is definitely high. And Kyle's like, that whole top floor of this house is going to be for Farrah's baby. We'll put a crib up there. And she lets us know that her grandma lived with them, with her mom and Kim and Kathy. And they would split it up, like where the grandma would take Kyle to set and their mom would take Kim. And, it was a big family living under one roof. And Kyle's like, but the upstairs will be that baby's, but the crib will also be in our room because the baby will sleep with us. And Kyle's like, I'm not going to ever be living with my grandchildren, but I want to have a very close relationship. And she's like, the top attic will just be a play area for the baby, but it'll always sleep with us. And I was like, okay. And Marissa's like, okay. And she was like, okay, will you stir this stuffing, Mauricio? Come on. And he's like, I have an elbow issue. He's like, oh, come on, sir. And then, it's that whole trope of like, guys can't cook. Guys can't stir. Oh, look at this guy trying to stir. Okay. Then we cut to sunset, sunrise, and it's Thanksgiving Day, you guys. And we are at the Los Angeles Mission, which does a lot of an amazing work for the homeless community. And on Thanksgiving is like a big day for them where they feed full meals to the homeless population. And so we find out that Crystal's daughter is there with Crystal. Garcelle is there with Jax and her sons. And Garcelle lets us know that they've been coming here since these kids were 5 years old every Thanksgiving. Crystal says, yeah, I was explaining to her that this is their meal. This is their Thanksgiving meal, because she was talking about their meal. I was like, well, this is their meal. They serve over 4,000 people on that day. And I find it always interesting because, listen, it's awesome to give back. And I always find it interesting. Like, if you're rich, this is what you do. You got to be out there on Thanksgiving doing this. So then we get kind of a round robin of seeing everybody's Thanksgiving just through pictures. We're at Dorinda's place and we see a quick little camera iPhone video of Dorit's father going, Shalom. And then we get a picture of Dorit and her dad. I want more of that. This is the dad, remember from the earlier story of like, my dad told me my dad caught a bee and said, Dorit, do not be scared of this bee. Like, I want that story from the dad's perspective. We cut to Crystal's house. We see Jeff, the brother. There's a marshmallow souffle thing and they're burning it with the fire torch. And the kids are like, ooh, marshmallows. Then we go to Kyle's house and we see all these like cakes and fancy cookies. And we see a pic of Kyle and Mauricio. And then we see a pic of Kathy and Rick with a cake that says happy anniversary, Kathy and Rick. It's their anniversary. And I was like, nice. Like that is like, we finally get a little Kathy, but just a little, like Kathy like smiles. And then it's immediately ruined because Teddy Mellencamp shows up because we see a cake and Kyle's like, Teddy's trying to pretend she baked this huge cake. And Teddy's like, eh. And then we cut to a Lamborghini, a big house, all these things. And we realize it's Diana Jenkins' house. And Orinna, like the flippin' Joker, she's like, hello. Hello. You can always hear her before you see Rinna, And Rinna's like, Diana, every time she's in a different house. Every time. And Rinna goes, how's your baby doing? Very eerie. And they exchange those pleasantries that rich women do, like, I love you. I love you. You look good. You look good. You look good. Then he goes, I can't get over how good you look. But once again, no inflection on her speak. I can't, like, if somebody was like, Ryan, you're very handsome, I'd be like, oh, that person thinks I'm super ugly. Rinna goes, Diana, she's in a new place all the time. Last year, she had a beautiful Malibu place with a beautiful view. She showed it a year ago. Look at the price. It's $87 million. Which, by the way, that is the house that the Kardashians filmed the last season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians in. Remember, they rented the Malibu pad. That was Diana Jenkins. Everybody is connected. Diana's like, it was my baby's birthday. And Rinna's like, that's right. Yes. Elian, it's a beautiful name. I can't pronounce it right now. The little baby turned 1, very cute. We see phone footage of her, Diana, next to the baby, opening a very pretty red dress for the baby. And Diana like, wow, this is really cool. And Rinna's like, oh, she's so cute, that little thing. She's cute. And Diana's like, she likes to party too, like when her birthday party was over, she wanted everyone to come back. And then Rinna's like, just like her mom and dad. You can truly read evil into every one of Rinna's lines, like, just like her mom and dad, just like the parties you guys. Because in my head, I was like, oh my God, they threw like, remember, like they threw like room 23 parties, And then it's like, she loves ABBA. She's a dancing queen. And then we see, cell phone footage of the little baby dance. She's like, she sticks her elbow out. That's her little move. 1 year, it's cute. And then Rinna is getting poured a mimosa. She's like, yeah, free drinks. And then Rinna sees a hummingbird. She's like, oh, it's a hummingbird. That's Lois. Lois, listen, I'm probably going to do the same thing so that's great. I hope there's hummingbirds everywhere. I hope Lois is that, but I sometimes also like to think if heaven exists, they are not down here as birds. They're up enjoying the free buffet in heaven that you never gain weight from. Like, to me, that's like, I can keep eating. Like, I don't even gain any weight. That's heaven. So, they're talking about the holiday. I was like, how was the holiday? And Renee's like, yeah, it really hasn't settled in with my mom's passing. And you don't think of that really. And she's like, it's hard. I can't lie. Processing it, every single moment is different. And then she's like, but I went to New York with Harry. He was doing press for his Hot Zone, his big acting role. It's great. It's great. And then it's like, I saw a pic of 3 of you. And then we see a pic of Harry, Rinna, and Amelia Bedelia. And it's like, you look so happy, the 3 of you. And Rinna's like, I'm happy with my family. I did it for Harry. This show's really great. It really was. I did it for Harry. He needed the old razzle dazzle. he needed a little arm candy. Listen, I think Rinna loves to be at shit like that. That's just a personal opinion. Who knows? And Rinna goes, how was your sales party? Was it good? She does that Joker laugh. And Diana's like, the party itself was really good and fun. And Sutton on the way out did a Sutton thing. The way she does with those faces. Like, shouldn't you be on bed rest rather than saying, hey, how you feeling? You're not on bed rest. And Rinna in a talking head goes, I know that look. And then they all do imitations of that look and like a three, like, her does the look, Diana does the look, then we see Sutton's look in the middle, and it's cute. A flashback of all the looks. And then Diana goes, she called me soulless. And I gotta say, she does say it like a soulless. She called me soulless. And Rena's like, wait, what? Do I sense storyline rolled, Rena? She told me I was motherfucker. And if you're foreign, you translate that as I fuck my mom, my poor Bosnian mom. Listen, I get that in a sense. Diana's been here, right? Since like 2011 or, and a very worldly individual. I feel like America, one of our greatest exports is the word motherfucker. Now, translation, sure. But at this point, doesn't she think like, hasn't she seen enough Eddie Murphy movies of like that motherfucker or that, like, come on. Like she really thought Sutton was like, I want you to go fuck your Bosnian mom. I want you to make love to her. I want you to wine and dine and possibly 69 her. I'll say, like, come on. Like, did you really translate? That's what you thought Sutton meant? And she goes, and then Kyle was trying to say, Diana lost baby, and then Sutton was like, I had 2 miscarriages, and it was kind of like, gambling. And she was like, I'll raise you 2 miscarriages. And when he goes, that's narcissism. That is just a narcissist. Listen, like, I feel like an angel gets its wings every time Lisa Rinna, a professional narcissist, calls somebody else a narcissist. Like, that's narcissist. Where have I heard something like that before? I think that's narcissism. And the talking head, Rena goes, Diana goes, how do you leave like that and not realize you're hurting other people? That's not empathy, in regards to Sutton. And she goes, she brings me down. And then Renee's like, well, it's not going to fly with me. Now, if I see that kind of behavior, she just evilly laughs. Then we cut to Kyle and Mauricio. Kyle and Mauricio after Thanksgiving. And Mauricio's at the foot of the stairs and he's looking at his outfit. He's like, I'm color blocking. It's, Italian, where it's a Brunella Italian color blocking. Kyle's like, color blocking? What are you talking about? And I still was like, color blocking. She's like, I'll give him this. He's usually not even dressed before guests get here. And now he's color blocking. And we get a flashback of all the times Mauricio's been in a shirt before people have come over. And then Kyle's like, at least he's got clothes on. Oh, that scoundrel. And Kyle's like, you want to make us a drink? He's like, I would love to. Like, Mauricio, I will give him that too. I like Mauricio, is that he's always up to, there's no guff. It's like, would you make us a drink? Oh, you do it. He's like, I would love to. Then PK and Dorit just walk in. Like, they're a little too comfortable. Like, why are we just walking in? We should be walking in the season of a home burglary. Let's not walk in. Let's knock. Hey, PK, come on, let us in. Let us in, governor. Come on. And Kyle's like, are the Kemsleys here? And they all hug. They're very close. And he's like, where's my best mate? All right, all right. And he goes to the boys like, good to see you, buddy. How you feel today? And they pound knuckles like men do. He's like, hey, could you make Dorita Beverly soda? Yeah, 3 lemons, make the drink cloudy, and then take the carcasses out. I'm like, damn, that is a very specific order. And then Mauricio starts pouring like a heavy pour. He's like, it's enough. It's enough. Which I was like, that was a kind of an interesting moment that I was like, ooh, because it's a heavy pour. He's like, hey, don't try to get my wife wasted. Kyle is in the sitting room with Dorit talking about the Hermes blanket. And Dorit's like, we are thinking about moving. We want to. And Kyle's like, oh, I don't want you to move. You are so close right now. And Kyle's like, I got to tell you, I was ready to move here after that whole handbag burglary. Remember, we know this so many times that her entire handbag collection, even the ones her mom gave her, got stolen, jewelry, all of this stuff, really a huge robbery. And, I think Teddy Mellencamp's husband, Edwin was their security team. But we get a flashback to that thing at the reunion. And Kyle's like, I feel comfortable now here and I feel happy and I feel you will in time too. And I feel like Dorit doesn't even own that home. So it's like different than Kyle. And Dorit goes, you're the only reason to keep me here, which kind of in a sense it is. Like Kyle is powerful in a way. Kyle truly is a power, like she's getting more and more powers. Of course, like I know Dorit genuinely likes Kyle too, but it also helps Dorit's standing, I think. Like listen, we are aware of how successful our friends are. And sometimes that's a really cool thing. And PK is in the room now. He's like, hey, the last time I sit on this couch, it was the night of the home invasion when I came home. Weird vibes, got deja vu. And they're all sitting down. And Kyle's like, oh, yeah, it was such a weird drama, and you were wearing those leggings, PK. And we get a flashback to that night, which all footage we haven't seen. I'm like, I wanted to see the original episode. You save it for now. And we see PK getting made fun of for these little legging things he was wearing. And Erica was like,
I was going to say so. You wearing leggings, huh?
And then all of a sudden, Kyle goes, did you miss that with that Erica's son that she told her son to fuck off? And Mauricio goes, I think it's great she did that. I think it's great. And Kyle's like, I like seeing this more relaxed version of Erica. And Dorit goes, 100%. I can give her a pass because it's not my child. I, can't even remember a time she's been loose and free. Like, isn't it so fucking dark that if your friends were like, I genuinely like Ryan better when he's hammered. He's truly a stiff asshole otherwise. I like when he's mean to children and when he hits on friends' children as well. Really, it's very charming. I like it. He's he's such an asshole without alcohol. I encourage him to drink your sorrows away. Truly, truly drink your sorrows away. I love it. I want Erica Jane to keep drinking. Chug, 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 chug. I want her to make fun of your kids, Kyle. Please, it would make me so happy. But it's just like weird. It's like rich people going like, I think it's great. I wish you would tell more young men to fuck right off. Yeah, I wanted to tell men to fuck off. But Erica, she's got the balls to do it, and I love her for that. In a flashback, we see Erica and them sitting around a dinner table where Kyle's like, I didn't even think you guys were having any fun. And Erica's like,
what are you talking about? I'm having a great time.
And, Dorit's like, this clearly, the Erica we knew was holding it all in. But even if it wasn't the best side, it's getting better. Like it's this weird fucking like logic, this pretzel logic that it's like she was holding in this horrible relationship with Tom where she was buying every goddamn thing known to man, like in terms of jewelry, and she was truly happy and made us all feel bad about how little money we had because she was spending all of the money many times. But now we really like her. We like her as a drunk, sniveling mess. Like it almost has a little bit of a reek of like we love weak Erica. We love Erica with a debilitating alcohol and pill problem. We hope she keeps going. Like it's if they really think that PK goes, hey, she had a blowout, You try to tell one to fuck off, try to fuck the other one. Hey, it's like Animal House. Oh, 2 a week. And this is a weird scene. My friend Christina pointed out. She was like, I think they were trying to redo the scene from last season that they got like their balls licked for with the like, don't operate on the brain, do the ankle. Oh, and we were all like, oh my God, PK and Mauricio is the second coming of Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, the comedy teams of yore, Cheech and Chong, PK and Mauricio. And so like, they're like, and he's like, Bree's like, how many have you had? I'm going to do 2 a week too. And then Dreed's like, PK, you'll find yourself a divorce court if you try to do that. And then we cut to Sutton, and she is she's setting all these like, at her house, our house, I'm sorry, silverware, flowers, her beautiful new house. And we see the kitchen staff. She's like, well, there's bread and brioche, butter, salad, and tell them what the salads. And so like, no, hey, no pancetta for me. No. And she's like, well, should we do it on the side? And Son's like, no, put the pancetta on all the other ones, just not mine. I love pancetta. I do love pancetta. It's great. And Son's like, I thought it would be fun to have these ladies. I'll say over to see my new house, even though it's not anywhere near done. And we see a lot of before and after pictures. And she's like, it's taken 2 years, a lot of money, I'll say, but I'm excited to be able to see what I'm doing here. I'm really proud of what I'm doing. She has a cool bathroom. Joshua, her assistant's over. And I do gotta say, it's not as huge as I would think. So it's like one of those really probably nice houses that every room is just so specifically designed. But I got to tell you, we might, when I move in with her, we'll see how it goes, but I'm already thinking we might move to a bigger place. Well, I'll get in there. I'll decide. I don't want to be one of those guys that gets in. It's like, Sutton, we got to do this and this. I want to let her do her thing. But at the same time, I do want to lay down the law that I am the man. And, if I need a bigger place, I'm just going to let her know we need a bigger place. And I'll be like, she's like, I don't know. And I'll be like, do you want me to move out? And I'll just throw it down like that. I'll just be like, you want me to move out? Cause I'll move out. And I'll just be one of those domineering douchebag guys. That's Sutton. If you're listening, I'm joking. I love you so much. We're going to make this a happy home. So we got to Garcelle is opening the door and Cherie is there at her house. Remember, I always said last season, and I still to this day, Garcelle looks like she lived like right up on a power plant. She's like the last house in this like kind of not even a cul-de-sac. It looks like it just gets cut off completely. It's like a house that just runs into a hill. And I think it's up by Magic Mountain. I could be completely wrong. And I think somebody even sent me, my friend Alma sent me, I forgot but I think it was like, there was some kind of like waste management issue over there, not because of Garcelle, but I'm saying in that area. But I think it's a little bit of a hike. I think it's by Magic. I could be wrong. Who knows? Listen, we're not a news show. We can make up anything. Remember, folks, look into anything that I say or anybody says. Do not believe anything. Follow your gut. That's the so bad it's good promise. So they're having a little scene. They both look beautiful. Cherie is there. She's a vision in green, you guys. And Garcelle's wearing this blue and orange get up. Very beautiful women. I got to tell you, Cherie kind of turned my head a little bit. I like when I get creepy. Like Cherie kind of did it for me. Like she looked prettier than she did last week's episode. I thought she looked really pretty this episode. And Garcelle's like, are you ready for lunch with these ladies? And Garcelle's like, you want a little bit of glass of rosé? And Garcelle's like, Cherie and I have known each other so long. It's just easy. There's no judgment, and she's one of those people she'll call you out if needed. She just is that kind of girl. And Cherie's like, oh, the party was amazing. And Cherie's like, well, somebody was crushing on Oliver, Erica. And, Cherie was like, I thought it'd be me. And Garcelle's like, she was talking about having a threesome, girl. And Garcelle's like, yeah, some of my guests were taking flowers. And then Jax walked over and Erica told him to fuck off. And Cherie's like, what? And so I walked back in there and I said, you can't talk to my son like that ever again. I didn't want to have that conversation with her while she was in that state. I was like, I'm going to have it when she's sober. And then Cherie's like, so it's happening today. And Garcelle's like, yeah, take my earrings, girl. Like they're about to get into a fight. And Cherie's like, Jax is 15. She's like, no, 14. And it's like, that is inappropriate. That is inappropriate. In a talking head, she goes, it's not an excuse. I don't know if Erica's talking to people like that, but you don't do that to my son. And then these ladies cheers to setting a bitch straight. So she was like, to setting a bitch straight. And I was like, to setting a bitch straight. When I first watched it, I was like half listening and I thought they were saying to Sutton fucking Strack. I don't know what, Sutton's just on my mind. She's a special lady. So now we're back at Sutton's sort of housewarming party. Joshua is there. She's like, Joshua, let's do place calls. I'll say. And by the way, I will let Joshua visit when we live together. I'm like, I think it's important for her to have her male friends and her female friends. I'm not one of those domineering. Like I want her to have Joshua over. I want them to do name card things and have fun like that. There's a photographer there and Sutton's out back. We see the out back area where there's a table set and Sutton's like, oh my God, it's a mucky muck mess out here. And I'm talking to her, she goes, contrary to popular belief, it does rain in Southern California. Oh my God. It reminds me of Augusta, Augusta National when it rains. I'm not a sports guy, so I had to look it up. Augusta National is it's a golf thing for rich people. And Son goes, well, I'm trying to embrace that not everything has to be perfect, but it is just mucking and muck out here. And that's why I got to say, I really felt for Sutton when Rinna was being her horrible Rinna self, because you could tell that did bother Sutton. And Sutton probably needed a little grace in that moment from people like Rinna. because she wants everything to be perfect, and it wasn't. So Rinna comes in, just I would like to say a vision, but she literally like a vision where I lost my sight. She's in this weird like fuck, I was just, like a mini skirt, and there's like these red Frankenstein shoes, and her hair looks like she stuck a finger in a socket. It's like it's like a demon banshee. It truly, and I'm gonna bring up Stranger Things again. It looks like a Stranger Things demon, and Sutton's like, look how pretty your hair looks. And I was like, ooh, Sutton with the lie. And he's like, oh, those shoes. And she's like, yeah, you're Versace. Yolanda Fister, who I brought up earlier, I think he did a joke on cracked up about about Rinna renting. I think Rinna renting her shoes. And I was like, yeah, rent the Rinna runway. But it is funny to think about Rinna renting like items because it's funny. Poor people are funny, myself included. And she's showing Rinna the rooms. He's like, I love the vibe. It's cool. It really is. It's really cool. Rinna trying to be sincere. Cherie and Garcelle get there, and she comes in, and Cherie meets Lisa for the first time. And they're doing the women pleasantries that we always see. And we meet Avi, who is the property manager. So is this like a Mr. Belvedere butler, like straight on to China? Never met him before. It's Avi. Avi is like, hello, ladies. He's in a 3-piece suit. And he's like, may I get you drinks? And, they order like a Belvedere lemon. And then Garcelle says, I'm just drinking water. I want to be clean to talk to Erica. And I was like, oh my God, that is dark. And it's like, no, I want to have every one of my faculties together. I'm going to take a piss test just to prove I am sober. We cut to Erica in the back of a limo. Which, by the way, maybe we should start driving ourselves places. This seems like it could cost money. We cut to Erica. She's like, can you play XM? Can you play XM? She's like, oh, doesn't have XM? Okay. Silence is good too. Yeah. And then he goes, oh, I know. 103.5. It's playing Christmas carols. And she goes, a producer and a talking head asked Erica about Sutton's house. Is this going to be the first time you've seen Sutton's house? She's like, I'm not worried about seeing Sutton's house. I'm worried about Garcelle. I'm worried about that Haitian mob I've offended. I'm offended. Which that's kind of Haitian mob. Like, what is wrong with you? And we see a flashback to Crystal and Erica talking. And Crystal's like, it wasn't right what you kind of did. And Erica's like, they're 16. They're not babies. And Crystal's like, they're 14. And then Erica's like, oh, okay. Well, that puts it in a little bit of a different perspective. I love that Erica's Epsteining this thing. It's 16. They got pubes. Let's go. Hey, come on. They know they're old enough to hear what I gotta say. I'm a Southern lady. Come on. But then she immediately like, okay, that is actually bad. And by the way, this scene, why are we just seeing a little clip of this scene? It looks like they're walking in some kind of forest. And I'm like, I want the full one. I want this full scene. Like, give me this full scene. So we're back in the car. It's like, Merry Christmas. She's humming some shitty crap. Yeah, Christmas, Christmas. Crystal comes into Sutton's house. Dorit comes in. It's like, wow, this is amazing. And it says like, welcome to the living room. And we see more before and after photos. Yeah, these floors, all original 1930s, and Dorit's like, I love the vibe. I love this bar. And then she orders a drink. She's like, 3 Belvedere, 3 lemons, caucus is out. So I was like, oh my God, they're really hitting Dorit's drink. They like, do the Dorit drink this summer. I'd like a tub of Belvedere. Make it fucking cloudy like my piss. And then take those lemon caucuses out. Like, carcass is such an extreme word when it comes to drinking. Erica comes in, like, Erica drives, gets dropped. She's like, wow, new place. All right. Okay. And then I thought it would have been funny if Erica went to the back because she's usually living in a pool house. Where's the pool house? Oh, this is her dad. Oh, shit. Okay. Hey, what's going on? Hey, hello. Hey. And Son goes, I love your coat, Erica. It looks amazing. And she's like, it's old school. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite pieces. Hey, I got you something, son. There's a candle made in Spain. Son at the Dollar Tree today. And I was like, I think something like that. And Renee goes, yeah, Erica, that coat is mine. It deserves to be mine. And Erica's like, fight me for it. And then Renee goes, you bitch. And Sutton goes, hey, Garcelle, hey, everybody, hey. And then Erica says hi to Garcelle, and Garcelle, hi, Erica. And it's like immediate, like, ooh. And then Erica goes, what's everyone drinking? And then she goes, I can only have one. And she's right next to Garcelle. She goes, I learned my lesson. I'm one and done, one and done. And Garcelle's like, yeah, agreed. Very cold. And you can tell Erica's on her heels a little bit, which is refreshing to see. Don't you love to see Erica fucking apologetic for once? Not apologetic for any of the last year and a half, but like you could tell she's like, oh, fuck. And Garcelle in a talking head goes, listen, we've all had many a drink in our day, but how you behave is really who you are. Damn. Garcelle is not letting this go. How does it feel, Erica? So there is this they're like sitting next to each other by the bar, and it's you can just feel the tension and the awkwardness. And for Erica to feel awkward and tense, like, I mean, it's really an amazing sight. And so then all of a sudden, I think they're going to start talking about it. And instead, Son's like, who are we waiting on? Kyle? And Garcelle's like, yeah, Diana isn't coming. And, Erica's like, is she sick? And she's like, then we cut to Sutton. Sutton's like, okay, I just thought it was fun. Everyone will see this room, everybody get a drink before lunch. Come on, yeah, follow me in the kitchen, everybody. Yeah, come on. Don't look at my stupid refrigerator. Do not look. My Sub-Zero is not here yet. I say. And I shit you not, you guys, I think it's the fridge I have in my house. They're like, don't look at this piece of shit fridge. Oh, I piss on this fridge. I say, this is a poor person fridge. Everybody, make sure you shit on this fridge before you leave today. We're going to burn it out back when I get my Sub-Zero. It's probably contaminated. It's so poor people. I got some poor person. I get it from some Best Buy. You ever heard of this place, Best Buy, like a dollar store for electronics? I say, I just needed something. So we see the appetizers laid out. There's like caviar and oysters. And Rena's like, I'm not a caviar girl either. Nobody fucking asked. Rena just don't eat it. And Krista goes, I love it. And then Rena goes, because then you get more. So it's like oysters and all that. I got to tell you, I'm not a caviar girl either, Lisa. I do find caviar a little bit salty, a little too salty for my taste. And there's something about my Old Navy style and taste that I'm like, should I be eating $55 on one bite? Kyle comes in and she's wearing this fur like she's from the movie Casino, like Sharon Stone. She's like, I'm like, who did that fall off a truck somewhere? And Rena goes, oh, you, oh my goodness. Ooh. And then we go out back and Rena goes, it's cold out here. Rena's already bitching. Like, it's cold out here. Oh, you're going to need to carry me to the table because look at this mesh, not in these shoes. And Son's like, well, it's not my friend. But, you got to persevere. I want to keep the party outside. I say. And Rena says, oh, we're dealing with a swamp. Like just that person that just won't. It's like, okay, we get it. Okay. Oh, it's just dirty as shit out here. Ugh. Oh, it's like a fucking jungle. So gross. Like she just won't stop. Like, oh, we're just dealing with a real tragedy out here. It's just gross. You should just burn it all down. And then in a talking head, Lisa Rinna says one of the meanest things that I won't forgive Rinna for so many reasons, but this is right up there. She goes, it's a perfect symbol for Sutton. You have this beautiful table set. It's just gorgeous, surrounded by muckety muck. That's Sutton Strack for you right there. And I was like, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out now. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you talk about our house like that, Rena? You will never be, when I live there, you will never. I'll be like, I'll send Sutton to the driveway. That is where you sit, And I just thought that was really hurtful because I was like, Sutton's going to, why? Like, I saw what you said. I'll say, so hurtful. We're going to see that moment at the reunion. You called me a gorgeous table with muckety muck all around. I am not muckety muck. You're muckety muck. Also, then we cut to commercial, and I saw a commercial for this new reality show called Claim to Fame with Frankie and Kevin Jonas hosting. And it's like, these 12 people are related to celebrities. Can the people guess who? It's like an ABC show. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is truly end of the world. And they're like, I'm Frankie and I'm Kevin Jonas and we're hosting Claim to Fame. I was like, am I dreaming? I was like, am I in a stranger dream? Is Vecna about to come get me? Okay, so we're back outside, and we're just like, I can't walk on these. I need slippers. I can't look at these Versace's. I think we need some flip flops. I do. And she's like, just tells Joshua can you get me some flip flops, Joshua? Can you please? Come on, come on. Let's do it, Joshua. Avi, the house manager's involved now too. Now Joshua and Avi are like, oh, we didn't count on Lisa Rinna being a horrible person. And Erica goes, didn't you make place cards, bitch? Yeah. Like Erica Jane is literally turned into a walking belch. She's just like, fuck me. Shut up. She's like a walking belch. You can just like, and Kyle's like, Kyle, like, we can all dislike Kyle for many reasons, but it's like, she's like, I don't care. I'll just walk on my tippy toes because she doesn't want to be short. She's like, I need to remain tall in these shoes. But I'm like, gosh, like, wash the shoes later. Awesome. And Kyle's like, I'm not going to change into flippy flops. I'll deal with this later. And then Kyle goes, I've never been so happy about this coat choice in my life. Because remember, he's got the big fur on. And Renee goes, I also might need a coat. Like Renee's like, I need flippy flops and I need a coat. And I need you to deposit 100,000 American dollars into a Wells Fargo account. So all of a sudden the furs are out. All of a sudden it's furs, like you get a fur and you get a fur. And it's like, yay, furs. And like, these are like really nice furs. They're like, ooh, that's a 1940s fur. And Erica's like, I've got one too. Garcelle says, wow, that is luxury for you, that everybody gets a fur coat. And Crystal says, well, is this our lunch? Because the food's getting delivered. She's like, I want to monitor my eating, which is just, knowing Crystal's issues. That's a really kind of interesting line, right? Like, I don't think any discourse has been kind of talked about that, but that feeds right into that, because isn't that one of the issues is when you have an eating disorder without monitoring your eating, it just means you're hyper aware, and that like she gave herself some caviar, so now she's got I just the line just got passed right over. And Kyle goes, did I just eat a flower? And Renee goes, Dorit, how have you been? And she's like, good question, Lisa. I've been okay, guys. I have certain challenges. I can't drive. And in my head, I was like, oh my God, Dorit's never learned to drive. Like, I can't read. She's like, I can't drive. But I found out, I was like, no, she can't drive now. And like, she knows how to drive. Because I was like, oh my God, we just finding this out that Dorit doesn't even know how to drive. I cannot parallel park. No, she goes, I can't be alone in my car. I used to value the time alone, truth be told. But being alone, I don't feel comfortable anymore. And the talking head Dorit goes, you're not in control of your emotions when you're vulnerable. You don't put yourself in positions to hurt yourself or someone else. And then she further relates to the lady. She's like, I haven't even taken the kids to parks. And Dorit goes, it's the little things, it's these small moments in time, but it's worth it to take care of you. Take care of yourself. And a talking head says, I do feel the guilt and worry of this mama bear. Then she says, mama bear Dorit. Will I allow my kids to live their normal lives no matter what their mama is going through? And somebody says, oh, Diana's not coming. Did you know something? In a flashback, we see Diana FaceTiming Rinna going, my head feel fuzzy. I'm in bed. The doctor was like, your body said, no, you rest. That's another kind of wealthy thing. Like my doctor, I can't even get it. Like I was super sick. Like remember a year ago, and I'm sick all the time in Nashville. And I called my doctor and they're like, we can see you. And I'm like, great. In a month from now, I'm like, I just kept the appointment, even though, well, I hope either I'll still be here I hope I don't die before then. And if I'm better, I'm just going to keep the appointment because I'm sure something will be wrong. But I was like, that is rich for you, of like a doctor of like, well, time to get back into bed. You don't need to work. So why don't you just, it's like, I love poor people's bodies. They're like, when this happens to poor people, it's like, we we don't listen to our bodies. Fuck that. Like, sorry, can't do it. And Garcelle goes, well, what? Well, that's rude to not call the hostess, to not even call the hostess and say you're not coming. And Erica goes, I texted the hostess and said I'd be late. And Son goes, well, I did appreciate that. I'll say, I did. A little nicety between Sutton and Erica. And Son goes, well, I don't appreciate Diana's passive aggressive behavior. I'll say. And Rinna, I swear to God, do you guys remember SNL, the church lady on Saturday Night Live with Dana Carvey of like, well, was it because of Satan? Like Dana Carvey, really funny. But Rinna is like full church lady here. Also, a lot of people online were saying that Rinna looked exactly like Austin Powers. And I was like, yeah, because I thought Rinna kind of looked like a Lifetime version of Kris Jenner. I'm like, hey, look at me dressing for the job I want, Kris Jenner. But then somebody online was saying she looked like Austin Powers, which totally works and makes me laugh. But does Rinna have fucked up teeth like Austin Powers? Let's shag, baby. Oh, behave. Sutton goes, yeah, Rinna goes, oh, really? That's the pot calling the kettle black, isn't it? To Sutton. And so I go, well, I'm never passive aggressive. And Renee goes, yes, you are. And then she goes, no, I'm not, Lisa. I am not passive aggressive. I'll say. And then Renee goes, you can't say you're not passive aggressive. Did you call Diana a motherfucker and soulless? And there's like looks around the table, dun dun dun, dun dun dun, dun dun dun. To be continued. Bam, you guys, another to be continued. That was the end of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but we got a preview for next week, and we see Garcelle with one of her sons in a shoe store and at a sneaker store, and she's like, oh my God, those sneakers are $9,800. Wouldn't it be great if Erica's like, I'd buy you some sneakers, huh? Yeah. And then we see Kyle doing like fake snow at her house, another rich person thing, putting fake snow out for Christmas. And then we see Garcelle and Kyle having a conversation saying, well, her drinking is becoming a lot. She keeps drinking. So they're talking about possible alcoholism. And then Sutton is telling Lisa, in the continuation of this week's party and the preview for next week, says, you know, Diana and I, we started to connect. We're connected. And Rinna goes, I think she sees it very differently. And then we see a scene between Diana and Sutton. And Diana's like, if you think me hugging you was sincere, you really have problem. And Sutton goes, shame on you. Shame on you, Diana Jenkins. I'll see. Ooh, you guys, what an episode we've had today. I hope we've all learned something about ourselves. It's clocking in at a cool 2 hours and 36 minutes. What am I even doing with my life? But thank God I get to share it with you guys. Thank you guys for all the people that keep coming back. I hope you had a lot of silly laughs. I hope you didn't learn anything today. I hope it took you off any kind of bullshit that's going on in your life. And guess what? That means we are at the weekend. And what do I want you to do with the weekend? I want you to eat something, drink something, dance with somebody, kiss somebody with their permission only. Consent is cool. I want you to try to be happy. Take some time for yourself. Spend some time with your kids, your family. Call somebody that you haven't talked to in a long time. Take a bath, take a shower, brush your teeth, read a book, watch something on TV, make something good, order something cool, have Taco Bell. Who cares? Just have the best weekend ever. And if you can, give me a thought, and I'll talk to you again on Monday when we do a pop culture roundup with Sophie Ross. And for all you Patreon baddies out there, you will hear from me a lot in the next couple of days with all the Ultimate Girls trips. What do we call them? Recaps. That's it. You guys have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye. And you people out there in YouTube land, I'm saying goodbye to you guys as well. This is a YouTube goodbye. Look how crazy my hair is getting. It's like Albert Einstein. Wow. Okay. Say goodbye, Tom. Goodbye. Bye, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Please keep subscribing.